Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. This evening, we finish the story of Season 8. It is the championship race, the ISRC finale at Kansas. It's been an incredible chase that we've seen so far. 5 races out of 12 drivers that made it into the chase has came to this moment. 3 drivers within 6 points of one another, seeing the likes of going to be Jared Talmadge, Vincent Sora, John Forbes, all hunting for a championship. Outside looking in with a very slim chance of winning this championship, but if somehow everything lines up perfectly, Joshua Kanata is still in the fight, but it's really looking to be a 3-horse race of the veteran of Vincent Sora, our Season 1 champion, trying to crown himself once again and be atop of the pedestal of the ISRC Truck Series, or will be the champ, the one, the great one, John Forbes, the 3-time back-to-back-to-back champion, trying to go for 4 in a row if he can get it done here tonight. Or could it be the future? The driver who's been following behind, watching the greats go for championships and wins? Is it Jared Talmadge's time to say that he is the greatest driver of the ISRC for Season 8? We got plenty of storylines, plenty of ways to crown a champion, and we'll try to keep it all here with you here this evening on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's going to be a fun one to crown. Who is the next champion? Do we continue the trend with John Forbes? Do we go back to the history books? Or do we bring in a brand new champion to the ISRC history? We'll find out. We're proud to give it to you here once again on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me as always is Zach Hall. And Zach, what a season it's been. What a chase. It's been Jared Talmadge. Ever since he got his win to start the chase at Talladega, he's been trying to stop the bleeding, but tonight it's his final chance to stay atop.
Yeah, it's been quite the job by him. I mean, he's done everything in his power to stop that bleeding. It's just those bonus points have really been taking a toll out of his points lead coming into tonight, but he's hung on to this point, Sam, and I think that's the biggest thing is he's hung on, he's got here, and he's in the best position of anybody. You know, this is a track where I feel like it's going to be a little bit even between everybody with how much drafting, how much track position could really play a factor. So Jared Talmadge has quite the shot tonight, and he could definitely be looking for that first championship. And what a story that would be, because his growth has been amazing.
It certainly has. Been looking back at the history of the ISRC Truck Series when it comes to the championship races and seeing where have drivers started to where they are now. Jared Talmadge's story, again, he's trying to get his very first championship if possible. He was a part of the first race all the way back of the ISRC Truck Series in September 12th of 2021. He finished 6th that day. This season, he's participating in his 6th season. Will the numbers line up for him to be the 6th driver to be crowned a different champion in the ISRC Truck Series? We'll have to find out as practice is closing up. We're entering into qualifying, which, if you look at Kansas, qualifying has been named by just one driver that is in this roster. That's John Forbes. He has been quick at the start. He grabbed the pole here back in Season 2 and Season 6. Missed out on it in Season 4 as Mark Whitley ultimately took the pole and win that day. But Zach, John is always quick when it comes to qualifying, but it's when we get to the race where he seems to have that fall off.
That is very true. Yeah, this track has been amazing for him, putting down those fast laps, but it just always something seems to creep up and get him when it comes to this race. So we'll have to see how he navigates it tonight, because we know how valuable 3 bonus points can be for leading the most laps also. So I think if you're one of those top 3 drivers, you're going to want to be out there out front leading this thing, but at the same time, is that going to be a problem for you, by going out and really using up your stuff? So I think it's going to be a interesting case of which driver is going to be willing to risk it here early, because again, here at ISRC, no stage breaks. So if we drop this green flag and we stay clean, we will go all the way to the end. So the decision you make from the drop of the green flag will very much matter.
It certainly will, and this is going to be probably one of the first times that we really get to see our Championship 3 drivers qualify at mile and a half. So looking back at this season, early in the season, Jared Talmadge, Vincent Sora, John Forbes, they kind of were playing a game of not qualifying for the first half of the season, where we had a lot of our mile and a half races. Now, a lot of those races, they finished quite up front very well for the likes of Vincent Sora, John Forbes, and Jared Talmadge, but they all started in the back. This is probably going to be our first time to see where is their true qualifying pace when it comes to qualifying at this type of a D-shaped course, as we're seeing Ryan Ferraro and others who can get the top spot as the 10 machine, hoping to finish off his season where he started. It was a very strong first 4 races for Ryan Ferraro. Thought he could be one of those drivers that could sneak his way into the playoffs. Just didn't work out for himself as the rest of the regular season progressed. But it's going to be our Season 2 champion of Trenton Jump, currently top of the board with a 30.907. We looked at how the practice finished up. It was John Forbes at the top time, who can try to best them here during qualifying. As Eric Stamp now going to be the new pole sitter with a 30.66. As no swap around, it's now going to be the 91 of Martin Morales Jr. Where did that speed come from for the 91? A 30.643.
Excellent job, pretty much backing up what he ran in practice, Sam. So that's really good job from Martin there. And because, a lot of the practice times could even have an involvement of a little bit of draft. So that is very quick, especially putting yourself ahead of Trenton Jump, a past champion. So Martin Morales, definitely an excellent lap for him, and we'll have to see if some others can find the speed such as he has, as it looks like our first of our championship contenders is going to be Vincent Sora out there.
I've seen other past champions now out on track. Nick Crawford, champion of Season 4 when they had the championship race at Charlotte. See if the 74 can find any good speed. Like I said, though, Vincent Sora, as he hops up front. Whoa, where did he come from? Tyler Dangler in the 19 pole time with a 30.638. It seems like drivers, they're waiting for this track to cool off. There is some speed that is creeping in. First lap for Vincent Sora. He's taking a very slow approach, almost a second slower than Dangler. As now Ethan Smith going to be top of the board. And this is where things might just shake up, as we still have over half the field waiting to put down their final times of qualifying. And Zach, this is going to be a quick switch up. Can now Ethan keep the top spot, as he's the first driver to get into the 30.5 section?
See if anybody can take that top spot, because first one into the 5s, and Sora going to cross the line. He's going to be up to the top of the board, but just by 1,000th of a second over Ethan Smith. So good job by Ethan Smith there. Very competitive time that he's already put down, as Sora going to be on just to barely top him. As we're watching Crawford here, I think he's just getting some extra practice laps in here. So this is definitely something I think the 74 is trying to use it in a valuable time that he can to learn some stuff.
As Michael Miller going to move up now into third position, looking to see who else can top the board. Will any of our other championship contenders be able to do it? As Crawford crosses the line, the 74, hoping to find some good pace for himself. Like you said, more practice time, as Justin Sipes now up to 4th. Third goes to Malik Coates. And here's Joshua Kanata. Talked about a driver outside looking in, really. He needs a perfect race. The only way that Joshua Kanata can find himself taking this championship is if he sees Jared Talmadge finish in last. He needs John Forbes to finish 21st or 22nd position, and then would also need for John Forbes to finish 17th or worse, and needs all those drivers to also not get any bonus points. That was the looking at the math and the way that it was going to have to work out for Kanata to take a championship here for Season 8. It's going to be a tough road, as Jared Talmadge tops the board. The driver who enters into tonight as your points leader, just 2 points over Vincent Sora. He finds himself top of the pole here tonight. All other drivers have finished up qualifying. It's Jared Talmadge taking the pole here this evening as qualifying closes up. What a run by that 27 machine. And Zach, a statement by Talmadge here to start off here tonight.
That it is. That is huge for that team, because immediately early, he's going to have the control of this race. We'll see how Jared can control from there, but man, what a job by him to sit it on pole.
And looking at the average starting positions coming into tonight, Jared Talmadge, he was one of the lowest of the top 3. He had an average starting finish of 5.5 here into the playoffs, and he was certainly a driver who's picked it up here recently. Grabbed the pole at Talladega, takes the pole at Phoenix, and now at a 3rd out of the 5 championship chase races. welcome to the top of the board where you want to start out perfectly for Jared Talmadge. We'll see how well this continues on for himself as we are now entering into our warm-up period where drivers are given time to get any last-minute practice in, as well as gives us a period to take a look at the point standings and schedule that got us to where we are tonight for a championship race. Like I said, it's really just our top three that we're keeping our eyes out on as Jared Talmadge, Vincent Sora, John Forbes. 6 points is the difference between those three drivers. Kanata, those 36 points back. He needs a perfect race. All Fonseca, based on the amount of drivers that are showing up, the amount of bonus points that are also enabled to be grabbed, his hopes have been snuffed out. But Zach, what a top three to see entering into the final race of the chase.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the majority of the wins on that right side list there too, it comes from those three. So it's really no surprise, I think, to see these three be the ones that have the best shot. Of course, Kanata is still mathematically in there, but I think Talmadge, Sora, and Forbes have just had A-class season from all three of those drivers. They've been really at most points this season our top three drivers. So this is going to come down to them, and it's one final race. And what's cool is this has all come down to points, and it's still going to be one race to separate them all.
And the big points, you can grab bonus points. You got your position on track. That's going to be 1 point per position. But bonus points that can be grabbed, 0 incident points. If you hit no one, don't hit the wall, don't go off track. You get 1 bonus point for yourself. You lead a lap, 1 bonus point. 3 bonus points if you lead the most laps. And the big one that's kind of helped out Vincent Sora, John Forbes, to get back into this championship fight. 10 bonus points if you win the race. All three drivers said it's most likely going to be a winning scenario if you're going to take the championship for this season. That's why they put in all the time in practice. Let's move on over to look at our schedule coming into tonight, because it's been a fun schedule to see the drivers going up and down throughout this season on wins. Jared Talmadge started off the season with his win at Daytona. We got to see Vincent Sora, John Forbes bouncing in and out, seeing different likes of also Thomas Green, Alan Elwood, Nick Crawford getting into the mix at moments, but it's been the big three. They've won everything after we saw that win from Crawford all the way back at race 7 of the schedule.
Yeah, it's wild to see that. It definitely started off with a wide variety. Then kind of as the season's thickened up, it's definitely come down to these top three who have gotten here. So it's going to be wild tonight to see if they can go out with victory, because we think of victory as what you're going to need to win this thing. But in my opinion, there's going to be so many other drivers out here tonight that can play a factor in a track like this that you might not have to win it. I think you got to keep in the back of your mind, second might actually still get you this championship.
It really could help you out getting it, as we now move on over to our pick'ems. Usually a driver that we pick on who we think is going to win the race. Storyline drivers. Tonight it's simple. Who do we think is going to win the championship is our pick'ems for this evening. And I'm going to go with the points leader entering tonight, Jared Talmadge. He starts out well with qualifying. Now, we made these picks during practice, but I think Jared Talmadge, he's been really doing a great job trying to hold back this barrage that John Forbes and Vincent Sora have had on him these last 3 weeks. It's time for this 27 to step up and show why he should be the champion. I'm excited to watch on how Jared Talmadge can be crowned the champion here tonight. Zach, though, who are you thinking is the one to watch out for the championship here tonight?
The one I've had my eye on most of these playoffs, and I feel like has just gotten snake bit a little bit by that first race, is going to be the 15 of Vincent Sora. I think tonight he is just going to conquer his demons, so to say, as John Forbes has really been a huge aspect in his mind to who to beat. He's, of course, got to beat Jared tonight, who's been a huge factor also. But I think Vincent Sora has just been on a streak here lately of just showing a ton of speed. I think the 15 gets that second championship.
Vincent Sora, the past 2 races winner. He has been doing a great job climbing out of the hole. We also have our third member of our group production. That is going to be Robert Moyer Jr., who runs production in the background. He's also going to join with me with Jared Talmadge as the driver that he will pick on who he thinks is going to win the championship. And I think everyone also knows John Forbes, the threat. He's a 3-time champ for a reason. He will be a threat up front all night long. The question is, how does the competition hold back this threat? And it's going to be a big question for the top 3 of Vincent Sora, Jared Talmadge, and maybe even throw in Joshua Kanata if he wants to try to throw his hat in there to stop the 11. But also it's going to come down to John Forbes. How much is he just going to fight for the win to be up front immediately, or is it going to be a full night of strategy calls? Well, warm-up's done, qualifying's done, and as well practice. The field is about to be set. It's about to be time. It's your championship race of the ISRC finale. taking the top spot. He looks quick. He's been quick since the start of this season. It's the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. Second place up front, going to be in that front row, going to be the 24 of Ali Fonseca. Driver with the biggest gap of our top three. 6 points back, but a win could grab him up in championship. John Forbes starts in third. Joshua Kanata needs a perfect race and needs his competition to just have a fall-apart evening. He'll start in fourth place. Vincent Sora enters tonight. He's 2 points back from Jarrett Talmadge, but he starts all the way back in row number 3 in fifth position. Ethan Smith going to be starting in sixth place with Isaac Shelley seventh. Samuel Garcia in eighth. Ninth is Thomas Green, and finishing out the top 10, it's the 77 of Malik Coates.
Starting at 11th, it's going to be the 82 of Justin Sipes. Alongside him in 12th, it's going to be the 99 of Michael Miller. Tyler Dingler is going to be 13th here in qualifying, with Martin Morales is going to be in that 14th spot. 15th is going to be a past champion of Trenton Jump. 16th is going to go to the 10 truck of Ryan Ferraro. 17th is going to be the 42 of Joshua Stovall. Logan Breaky going to start in the 18th position, with 19th going to Eric Stamp, and rounding out our top 20 is the 8 truck of Noah Steele.
Nick Crawford going to be starting deep in the field in 21st position, with Dakota Moniz in 22nd place. And finishing out our 23 drivers here tonight, it's Justin Smith in the 45. One driver will be sent to the end of the line after grabbing an ARCA brake penalty last week. We're going to be finding ourselves with the 29 of Logan Breaky. Going to be sent to the end of the line, as everyone else will stay where they're at. Tonight's race going to be 150 laps. No stage break, no fast repair, but there will be 4 extra sets of tires in pit road if needed. Zach, Kansas. It's not a traditional track that you see a championship ran at, but it certainly is a track that gives everyone a chance to run up front. What are the big factors you're looking for as the lights click on and this night race is about to begin?
The big factors I want to look for is like, how much is the lead going to be valuable? You know, is the draft going to be that strong where you can get around people, or will the lead position really be where you want to control this field? Because a lot of times we've seen with these trucks, you want to get out in front of that race lead, control the pace at that point, not try to really drive away, but just control the field to where you have that clean air and they're playing that second game of having that dirty air from following behind. So I'm very interested to see how well the lead position is going to be here tonight, or will that lead position be vulnerable?
We look at this season at mile-and-a-half tracks. It has been a lot of Vincent Sora. Sora enters tonight with an average finish of a 1.8 at mile-and-a-half courses. He won at Homestead and at Atlanta 08. Then Jarrett Talmadge, he has finished outside of the top 5 on average, 7.5 average finish at mile-and-a-half tracks. John Forbes, on the other hand, has it even worse, a 9.3 average, but he won at Las Vegas right before the chase. If we look at the stats entering here at Kansas, none of the top 3 have ever won at this track. They have struggled to even finish inside of the top 5. John Forbes did it just once, and that was back at season 6, the last time that we ran here. Everyone, though, knows tonight's race is the important one. 38 drivers entered into season 8 with a chance to enter the chase. 12 made the chase. And as this chase is prolonged, we found 3 drivers that have shined. They proved that they've been the cream of the crop. Now it's time to see which of the 3 will be crowned a champion as your ISRC season 8 finale is underway. Jarrett Talmadge, Ali Fonseca, they get rolling. John Forbes a little bit of a wiggle as we head down roaring into turn number 1. Here we go, Zach. It's the championship race of season 8.
Already stacking up pretty far back in the field, 3 wide through a couple rows deep, but it's going to be 2 by 2 as they exit out on a turn number 2 here with Talmadge side by side with Fonseca, and this will be critical. Does he want to wheel lap early, or how hard does he fight? Because Fonseca on the outside here might have the preferred position.
Ali Fonseca trying to rip the top. How well does he want to get up front, or does he just let the top championship contenders fight in their own battles? Talmadge drops to the apron, and he will find himself crossing the line. 27 leads lap number 1. No, Ali Fonseca leads lap number 1. Bonus point to the 24 as he wants to say, hey, if I have a perfect race, maybe there's a chance for me. But here's your live points on how he looked entering tonight. Jarrett Talmadge in the best position entering this evening. John Forbes needs a win. Most likely, with the way that these championship contenders are going to be running around one another, it's going to come down to that victory. Those 10 bonus points going to be the crucial factor of who wins a championship or not. Fonseca going to be staying still down low, still leading this race, but it's your championship 3, 2, 3, 4 all in line, and Kanata in 5th place. Your top 5 in points entering tonight are your top 5 currently.
Wow, that is amazing to see. It just shows you who is all rising to the top of the field here at this moment, knowing what is on the line. And look at Forbes immediately. He gets the opportunity to get to the outside quarter panel to lead a lap here, and he's going to take that opportunity. Forbes here going to lead a lap, get a bonus point early.
It's that early lap 1 bonus point, gets that lap lead bonus point for the 11 machine. Who else can try to grab a bonus point? Going to be the key factor of this evening, because that 27 as well for the 15, they know how crucial it is. But with no stage break for tonight's race, we could, in theory, go green from here to the very end of this race, and it could come down to strategy. And if you lose touch to this top group, this could throw away your championship almost immediately, as Forbes continues to rip up front. Now for John, he is yet to lead the most laps here at Kansas, but he was a lap shy last time we ran here in season 6. It was Nick Crawford who actually led the most laps that day. And will we see that 74 climb his way up front, as he's probably one of my underdog drivers, or maybe the dark horse driver, to win here this evening, as we're seeing Vincent Sora, Jared Talmadge race on for 3rd place.
You can see right here in front of our eyes, points changing live, as Forbes has now positioned himself where he's going to be leading the points here. So this is really, really good job by him, and just, you know, going to be in a position here late when we get in the race to really start to calculate things, but it's going to be ever changing, I think, throughout the night. So we got to pay attention to that and just focus on who the drivers are racing.
Who are they racing? Again, that bottom ticker showing live points. That's not calculating, I believe, the win. I'm going to wait for my producer to let me know all the calculations that we're still going to have to add in after the fact. The win will be added at the end of this race, but everything else expected to be calculated as live. So these drivers race on. That number, whoever is leading this race, that would be John Forbes, add an extra 10 at the end of this race. So these drivers, live points, Zach, is going to be a fun journey to watch. But if you're winning this race, you basically locked up the championship.
That's for sure, yeah. If you got there and win it, you can pretty much guarantee it. That is for sure. There is... If you want a guarantee as a driver, that is how you're going to, get that guarantee, is just to go out there and win, because 10 bonus points is just so valuable. There's nothing that could overcome that from either of the drivers that finished in those positions behind that leader. So we'll see how that all works out. But right now, Thomas Green putting a little bit of pressure right now on these drivers, and see how he works his way forward. Because remember, he's teammates with Jared Talmadge, so I'm interested to see how those two race with each other tonight. Will he play the team game, or will he go out here and try to look for his win too?
Yeah, I mean, team game is going to be a big factor. I think if you're Jared Talmadge, it's either I need to get a win, or you bank on maybe Thomas Green getting into victory lane, as that 3 has also looked very good at these 1.5-mile courses. Other teammates with Jared Talmadge and also Thomas Green, you're going to be seeing Sipes as well as Shelley. Those drivers going to be cycling around. Here is going to be the 98 of Isaac Shelley, as he's trying to stay ahead of the 19 of Tyler Dengler. Justin Sipes all racing along in Nick Crawford going to be the driver who's in the mixture here, as the 74 continues to rip the top. And currently Nick Crawford, one of the higher movers. Other drivers that are up just similarly, up 7 spots. Going to be Trent jumping up 8 spots. Joshua Stovall is those 2 with Mark inside of the top 10. Looking back at everyone trying to get to the top. That seems to be the comfort zone for some. Others trying to run down to that white line, or at least the first black seam. It looks like to be the spot the drivers are feeling comfortable so far, 10 laps in.
That is the beauty of Kansas. You can kind of run all over this place and make speed. It's just going to be what's going to make speed on the long run is going to be the question. Sometimes that outside groove can really wear out the tires, but then sometimes it can just be the preferred groove overall and just be better on the tires. So we'll see. As you see Crawford here dropping it down the apron, you really have a wide variety of options at this track. So everybody going to have plenty of chance to find their groove. But right now, I think Crawford, who did invalidate his second lap of qualifying, I think that put him so far back, he's going to be definitely a climber to watch come throughout the field.
And Crawford found himself leading the most laps. The last 2 times have been here at Kansas, back in season 4 and season 6. Like I said, we'll see how well he can climb his way forward. Driver who's up the most positions, currently going to be the 42 of Joshua Stovall, qualified 17th, now up to 9th. Being challenged by the driver that it seems like they're always attached by the hip. It's Michael Miller and Stovall racing for 9th and 10th position. And, you see drivers racing around one another maybe throughout a whole season. This has been multiple seasons where I feel like this 99 and 42 just continue to rip around one another, and seeing who's the most dominant of the 2 so far.
It is interesting to see, it always seems to happen with certain drivers where you're always around that similar driver just because, you know, it's just how things work out. And definitely been a interesting season for both of them. And I think if anything, both of them would love to come out here and close out the good race here tonight. So Stovall already doing a good job moving his way up through, and Michael Miller, especially with his performance at Rockingham, the speed he showed there, definitely on the ups for him.
Michael Miller, once again, another week of changing his number up on accident. Supposed to be the 99, is the 99 on our ticker. 5 is what he's running on that scheme. We do have another official 5. This is Dakota Moniz, who runs back in 20th place. Get confusing when they're around one another, but currently it's pretty easy to see. Here's that other 5, Dakota Moniz, more defined in the black and red and white, as we've seen that blazing fast TV machine getting into that outside wall. And that was something I was hearing a lot from the drivers. This vehicle feels like it tightens up a lot as the run goes on, especially with dirty air. Whenever a driver just kind of crosses in front of you, it really just drifts these cars into that outside wall.
It really does. It is a sudden change of grip on the front tires. I mean, you go from literally feeling like everything is fine, you're going to make the corner perfectly great and dandy, and then all of a sudden that person slides in front of you and the air just gets taken right off the nose of that truck, and your truck just plows up the racetrack almost into the wall. So it's definitely wild, something you'll see here tonight. And I tell you what, also we got some great battling going for second. Looks like Vincent Sora and Ali Fonseca here battling.
Ali Fonseca, Jared Talmadge thinking about the outside. Now also going to be seeing the 3 of Thomas Green get into the mix. And these drivers all on top of one another. The big thing you got to be careful of is don't lose sight, don't lose touch to the 11, who's almost a full second ahead. As Ali Fonseca stays low, he'll see the competition breeze on by on the outside. And here we go, top 3 in points. Now 1, 2, 3, as we see Sora try to settle in. I mean, this has been the battle between these two, Vincent Sora, John Forbes. I mean, Zach, it feels like the past 3 races they continue to fight on, but Sora troubles for himself.
Into the wall hard there off of 4. I wonder if how much contact he made there, because that was a pretty hefty hit. It looks, looking at the right side of that truck, doesn't seem to be too damaged, but man, that'll definitely wake up the senses. And right there, you can see how big of that momentum was. It shifts the points once again. Now Talmadge back to the lead, but again, that's not calculating our 10 bonus points. And also, we got to also factor in later that the 0 incident point that could possibly be a factor. And if you're Sora, you definitely are hoping that was a 0x.
You're hoping it's a 0x, but with how much momentum he lost, I don't know if that's a 0x. I'm concerned for the 15, as he now sees Thomas Green ripping the top to try to get by Vincent Sora here as they continue to race on. I mean, Zach, that was a massive hit. Lost of momentum. It might not show in a required damage flag, but the way that we're seeing this 15 fall back, there could be some suspension going on.
Definitely could be something suspicious going on right here, because definitely a huge loss of momentum. I mean, he got to the second and then hit that wall, and it just seemed like he's dropping back now. So we'll see if he can keep momentum and stay with them. But the ominous sign right now that I'm feeling is John Forbes is just driven himself into that second lead, and that could be a scary sight to see, Sam. We've seen him do it at mile and a half before, where he just kind of drives off into the sunset by himself, and then next thing you know it, he is literally just, you know, by himself, and you can't catch up.
Yeah, that's the big problem is for that 11. Once he gets that comfort zone where he's so far ahead, he's kind of racing his own race where he's seen the time difference. He can really protect those tires a lot better than others, and it gets dangerous on trying to run down the 11 because you're burning off so much tires that there's just nothing for him to really go get it for himself. We're being told by a producer, it looks like 0 incidents looks to be for Vincent Sora, currently being told. So it may not be as bad as we thought, but we'll continue to keep our eyes on this 15 who might have just gotten his cage rattled and decided, you know what, let's just back off at the moment and see if we can maybe calm things down before we go back into attack mode.
And we'll definitely have to see how that works out. Maybe not too much damage, but just more of calming down. And looking at lap time wise, I mean, right now Forbes out front is the slowest truck of the top 4. So this is going to set up for something interesting. As you see Thomas Green there flirting with the few guys doing it to farther in the background. That is just turn 2 though for you guys. You will see that a lot tonight. People getting really wide there on the exit. So it's going to be fun to watch that. But Green and Talmadge slowly starting to close the gap down. And if anything, this 3 and this 27 could work together over the 11.
They really could. That's the advantage of having alliance drivers or having just teammates in general that one's fighting for the championship and the other isn't, is you've got now a driver that's in your back pocket that is trying to figure out how do we help you win a championship, while you've got John Forbes and Vincent Sora. They might be under the same team and under the same banner, but they don't have teammates that showed up here tonight to assist them. It is strictly you're racing on your own, and if you help your teammate, you can be throwing away your chance of a championship. So the great team advantage would go to the Planet Sim Racing drivers of Jarrett Talmadge and Thomas Green. But on that same notion, these 4 drivers that are 1, 2, 3, 4, they're technically all teammates on Wednesday nights in our racing series of the WSSR VRS Cup Series. They know each other very well on their different tendencies and ways they want to race. Curious on how that could change things up as caution flag is out. First wreck of the day, and it's Justin Sipes in the 82 who's going to be slow as the yellow flag flies.
Sipes here gonna, I think, most likely have some contact off of 2 here. Is seeing a lot of people flirting with disaster off that exit. It seems like the trucks really push up the racetrack, and then as they get up that racetrack, they really want to step out on you at the rear. And I think that's what we're going to see. A common case here for this 82 is just, you know, as a little bit farther down the back straightaway there for him. But you'll see here off the exit, it's just going to lose this rear end as it pushes the track there. Just starts to step out. This third floor there got a little mixed up with the corners. But it'll definitely happen down here off of 2. And Sam, this is just a hard thing to save. He tried to save it, but it took about half the straightaway before he wrecked.
Yeah, there's a different tactics you can utilize to try to save a vehicle, and for some drivers, they just want to manually wheel a sucker out and see if they can straighten it out with just steering back and forth. You can see there just overdrives, and that's concerning for Crawford, who just saw a driver weaving back and forth in front of him, and you're just hoping they don't weave right back into front of you, as that is just going to be a simple spin. Yellow flag is out, and this is going to reset the field 23 laps into this run. And we're entering now, going to be starting lap 25 here. Zach, I mean, this is a zone where we're about halfway through this first cycle before we had our first green flag pit stop. Now we're going to expect everyone to take 4 tires and fuel. Now you're going to be left with 3 sets moving on and still 2 pit stops to go before this race is over.
Yeah, this is interesting timing with this because, you know, it really allowed, I think, Forbes to get a good feel for what his truck is going to be doing here. Now Talmadge is the same for him, and we'll see how does Vincent Sora reset, because I think he stayed in pit road for a little damage repair, so he's going to lose a little bit of track position, while our top 2 here are going to be Forbes and Talmadge.
Yeah, Vincent Sora, big loss of time, staying in the longest of anyone for 18 seconds in his box. Everyone else, 15 seconds or less was their time in pit road. John Forbes keeps his spot up front for the 11 machine. Jarrett Talmadge going to be second, Thomas Green third, Ollie Fonseca fourth. And John Forbes, I mean, Zach, his resume continues to speak for itself. Enters as one of the greatest drivers in this truck series. He's been here since season 1. He's got the 2nd most career starts with 136 coming into tonight on starts, 15 poles. But the big category that he leads the most, that's wins. 25 career wins over Mark Whitley's 18, as Vincent Sora is hoping to maybe grab his 18th career win if he can get it done here tonight, as well as his 2nd championship. But Forbes has just been the dominator ever since he joined the league, and it really showed back in season 2.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, he, you know, he's had his moments for sure, and I think it's been also just to watch his growth. I mean, he came in the series, of course, being a race winner, but he was kind of a race winner who would win a race and then have, you know, a few bad races here and there, and it just never really seemed to work out. And then once it really all clicked and came together, where every single week it was John Forbes, it has been super impressive. So we'll see what these guys got for him. But that first little run right there, if I'm Talmadge, if I'm Sora, I'm thinking I got to figure something out how to beat this guy, because he just went out there, pulled away from us, and didn't really fall off. That's the thing. When you see someone pull away, you're like, they might come back to me. When they don't start to come back, that's when the concerns come into your mind.
I mean, they were starting to come back. It looked like right before that yellow flag came out, there was a quick 3 or 4 lap stint where they were slowly chipping away, but then the caution flag came out. And like you said, this is just, I think, more dangerous for the field. John Forbes has now got knowledge. how much of this knowledge is now going to enhance him moving forward. Green flag is back out for the ISRC finale of Season 8. Thank you so much to everyone joining with us. Who do you feel like is the favorite for the championship, as it's now your top two, John Forbes, Jared Talmadge side by side, and Talmadge wants a lap lead as he fights on the outside to get in front of this 11 machine.
This is exactly what I'm going to do if I'm Talmadge. You got to make this scrappy. Don't let the 11 go out there, lead this race, and control the field. This is where you want to make him work for it. Make him use his stuff up, and right now Forbes is definitely trying to do that as he's going to slide up the track, but the 27 cuts back across. Will he get the lap lead? It's going to be close here at the line.
Coming to the line, and it's going to be John Forbes leading that lap. But Talmadge creeping his nose ahead as they go into turn number 1. Hoping for a slide job move. Not going to be the case. They'll stay side by side, exiting out of turn number 2. Forbes with the better run, but Talmadge hoping to at least stay side by side into turn 3. Couple of drivers floundering with speed further on back, but will continue to stay green as it's Talmadge. It's Forbes. Exits out of turn number 4. The 27 wants this lap led. He's in the better positioning. His jump's going to be slicing and dicing, but still, it's Forbes leading that lap.
Forbes just hanging on by a thread here, but I think he's in that preferred spot to defend, just on that quarter panel. It's so tough unless the 27 can clear, which I just don't think he's going to be able to do. I mean, Forbes, really big risky maneuver with that slide job, but he pulled it off. That's what you got to do, is get clear to get to this preferred position like this. So the 11 showing right now he is willing to risk it here early. He wants control of the lead.
Using up those tires, and the big thing for Jared Talmadge is, hey, you're making Forbes work right now. You're making him use up those tires a little bit more than maybe he did on that initial go, and it could have given an advantage for that 3 of Thomas Green to try to just steal his way up front. Update for some other drivers that are having some issues. Joshua Stovall, Ryan Ferraro, a lap and a half ago, had trouble off the exit turn 4, contact between themselves. They continue to race on, but slight damage for the 42 and 10 as they have a major loss in pace. Same for Noah Steele, who just is struggling on speed further on back, but up front it is still John Forbes leading the way down into turn number 1.
Still leading that way, like you said, Sam, but definitely under threat here as he's got that 27 and the 3 behind him. I really like that Talmadge has got his teammate with him. You know, if anything, sometimes you get side by side here at Kansas and you just can't clear, but if you can get a teammate close enough that can push you, that can help those situations. So this 3 definitely showing the speed that he needs to be able to help the 27.
Other drivers starting to get back into the mix. Driver to get those damage repairs. Vincent Sora is now into 5th place, as the 15 is slowly inching his way forward. But here we go, round number 2. Jared Talmadge, John Forbes, 27 ducks low, but just not enough momentum to really keep himself close, as he needs to get a lot closer and a more aggressive entry if he wants to have a chance here with Forbes, as Forbes continues to just run that middle and high groove where he just gets that momentum. I mean, Zach, this is picture perfect defense by the 11 machine.
It really is. This is exactly how you got to do it at Kansas, and that's what he's pulled off to perfection. He wants to lead the most laps. If anything, guarantee those 3 bonus points for yourself, because you don't know it's going to be a guarantee of those 10 with the race win. So if you can go out here and lead some laps, if anything, make yourself at least closer if it comes down to a fight where one of the 3 can't win. So I like what Forbes is doing, controlling this race from the start, and he's doing exactly what the 11 needs to be a 4-time champion.
As John Forbes continues to run the top, Jared Talmadge trying to stay ahead of his teammate of Thomas Green. It's now giving chances for Trenton Jump, Vincent Sora. They still stay in the fight currently right now. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the final race of the season for the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series for Season 8. Those 3 drivers that are shown at the bottom third, that's Jared Talmadge, John Forbes, Vincent Sora. That is your live points. Now, we also are missing out on the 0 incident bonus point the drivers will get at the end of the race, as well as if you win 10 bonus points that will be given to those drivers. Other calculations that are added into this live: lap led, most laps led. Those bonus points are added in to our live calculation. As we're watching this 11-27 going back and forth, and this could be the run for Jared Talmadge if he gets a good slingshot pass chance here on the backstretch.
This could be his chance. He ducks low here, big run here into 3 and 4, but I just don't know if you're going to be able to drive it in there deep enough, especially this late into the run already. It gets tougher and tougher, I feel like, as the run goes on, because you just don't have that Goodyear rubber to lay on to drive through the middle of the corner and clear that outside group. So Talmadge right here going to have to resettle, but definitely looking much more close this run. And like you said too, Sam, they were starting to slowly run them down at the end of the run. So if anything, keep it a little bit closer here. And then if you can be just that little bit better again, you'll be right here in control, right in position to fight.
Hey, if you're typing in and seeing rooting for your drivers too hard, we've got a poll here for you. Here are the 4 drivers that entered tonight, mathematically still with a chance for the championship. You had our points leader of the 27, Jared Talmadge. He came in with a 2-point advantage over the 15 of Vincent Sora, a 6-point advantage over the 11 of John Forbes, and Joshua Kanata. He needed a picture-perfect race. He did not need to see John Forbes or Jared Talmadge get bonus points. I believe the 16 is mathematically out of a chance of a championship, but those top 3 in the poll are the ones that you can vote for. Who do you think is going to win the championship here tonight? It's live. Pick your vote on who you think is going to win the championship this evening. We've had our first DNF happen as Eric Stamp has pulled off. He's called it evening. We're left with 22 drivers still out on track as we ride on board with the 27 there for a moment of Jared Talmadge. Zach, you're looking at this season. It's been an incredible one so far, but a lot of races have come down to strategy. Who has the better pit stop? Who has the better runs? I know it might be a little bit early in this pit stop run to look at it, but where do you think some of these drivers' mindsets could be for pit stops as we're 38 laps into this race, about to be starting lap 39?
Strategy is a huge thing here for sure. I mean, especially with how close the speeds are between a lot of these drivers. You make that right call to jump someone in a pit stop sequence, it could be the race winning or championship winning move. So we'll have to pay attention to that. But I think you're going to see a lot of these drivers probably look to stretch most of this out just due to the factor of the worry of that caution coming out to catch you a lap down. It really makes you worry about a lot of things like that. And I think that's going to make where the drivers are kind of willing to maybe stretch it a little farther than what would be the best strategy, but just to back up and give them that, that reassurance that they're not going to get caught out by that yellow flag.
Watching their top 3 still on top of one another. This is a much better run because of that first stint that we had of our first 23 laps for it. We had our first caution. When we were this far into a run, John Forbes already had a second gap over Jared Talmadge and Thomas Green, keeping it a lot closer as the 27 of the 3 machine of 11, not trying to pull away as much. It seems like for John Forbes, not as, aggressively fighting for the lead position. He wants that clean air, but it doesn't look like he's fighting as aggressively to pull away from the rest of the field.
It definitely seems like he is trying this time maybe to manage a little bit more, but I also think this 27 to 3, they decided they're going to keep the pressure on for the majority of this. Sometimes when that person's just that little bit farther up the road, it can allow them to relax that little bit more and even drive better. I know when you have someone right up your back bumper, it is always something you got to be looking in the mirror, making sure what line they're taking, what line you're trying to cover off. So the thought process is definitely a lot more there when you have that pressure. So I think you're going to see this 27 to 3. That's what they're trying to do to the 11.
Trying to find ways to move forward as quickly as possible as Vincent Sora seeing the top 3 ahead of him. That's who we're riding on board with, is the 15. And he's watching the top 3 continue to bicker back and forth. But if you're Vincent Sora, again, into the wall once again. Coming into tonight, Sora was looking, if you remove Talladega because of him finishing last that race and really getting the least amount of points, this playoffs has been his crowning achievements of just watching him finishing up front. He finished second at Phoenix, and then he won at Darlington and Rockingham the last 2 races. Vincent Sora's been digging himself out of that Talladega race hole, our regular season champion. This has been an incredible season for himself, but it's crazy to say the one blemish that he had this season could be the reason why he misses out on winning a championship this season.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, the climb back from Talladega has really been a huge thing for him and amazing to watch, too, for him. I mean, if anything, you look at Phoenix, where probably was the favorite car to win when it comes to speed there. He seemed very, very quick. If he pulls that victory off, we'd be maybe talking about a different story of him having to manage a points lead. But right now, it's a situation where he's going to have to get it done here tonight, in my opinion. So it's tough for the 15 because I know coming into the night, he felt like this track just doesn't feel like one of the best tracks for him when it comes to this truck. And he's definitely, I think, seeing that case right now as he's fell back to 5th and been in the wall a few times now.
Other drivers that we're watching on the fight in the climb, the challenge of Joshua Kanata and Ollie Fonseca. Drivers that are racing for what you call the best of the rest. They're in the chase, fourth on back. Kanata and also Ollie Fonseca, 2-point difference on who's going to finish fourth in the chase. And for Ollie Fonseca, what a season he's had. Pretty similar to what Vincent Soar's season was last season, or season 7, where we saw Vincent Soar really falter for the first 4 races and then had a historic climb that put him back into a championship run. Curious on for Ollie Fonseca what run he's seen here tonight, because he was battling for last in points after the first 3 races were over, and now he's got a chance to go for 4th in the overall points. Speaking of overall points, up front, Jared Talmadge, one of his best chances once again to the inside, the 27.
This is
John Forbes backs off. Talmadge slides ahead. The crossover move was there. Can the 11 slice back? Not going to be the case. Lap led for the 27. Finally for himself, 46 laps into this run.
This is the first bit of weakness I've seen. The 11 is not turning well. That truck, I can tell he's having to slope the center way too much to not be able to carry the momentum off. And you're going to see he's going to get a big run here because he's running that top side. But if you're Talmadge here, you need to put it on the door. Don't let him throw the slider back on you that you just pulled off. It looks like right here, the 11 is going to slide up, and the 27 is going to get to the quarter panel. So good job. Talmadge fights it off, and this is what the 27 needs. He wants to go win a championship.
And like that, another lap led for Jared Talmadge. John Forbes up front, and this was around that zone that we had our first caution. 23 laps into a run. Now this one is a little bit more aggressive as we've been green for 20 laps. And this is where we were starting to see that change in cycle where Jared Talmadge green, they were faster than Forbes, and they weren't really beating him by tenths. It was by hundreds, by a couple of thousands, and they were inking just a little bit more speed each and every lap. And now we're seeing that difference right now of going to be seeing John Forbes trying his best to fight back on Jared Talmadge, but Talmadge just looks a little bit too strong on the outside. But Forbes, another aggressive dive ball move on the inside. Can he clear? Not just yet. Talmadge is there, the 27. He's clean for now.
That is, if he keeps fighting that off, Forbes keeps throwing the truck in there like that, and he keeps fighting off of those, fights like that, it is going to be a big advantage for the 27. The car on the bottom always having to use much more tire when you're up underneath a truck like that. So if you're Jared Talmadge, you're loving that the 11 is trying to make those moves, but it's just not working. That is something you'll take. You'll say, okay, keep doing a few more of those, and I think I'll be able to drive away here. It just seems like the 27. One thing I can see, he can run the bottom just much better. He can really carry the momentum all the way around the bottom of the racetrack. And the 11 just seems to be very tight, and we're wrecking.
Wrecking behind, it's the 19, Tyler Dangler. And he goes around trouble off the exit, a corner of turn 2. Tyler Dangler and Logan Brakey making contact between themselves as the 19 running a special Dylan Hart Jr. baseball throwback for the final race of the season. And it's going to get a little bit scuffed up here as Dangler crosses in front of the 29, who had a massive run, and that bump just went a little bit off center, and away goes Dangler.
Yeah, and I think one big thing that played out right here is Dangler got the clear call, of course, from 29 up top. But as soon as he did and start to unwound that wheel, that is when that truck steps out the rear, and he lost some momentum really due to that off the exit. And that's where the 29 just couldn't get checked up in time. And there's really nothing Brakey can do with the 19 sliding up in front of him right there, losing a little bit of speed. So tough break for both of those drivers, because just a basic racing number 4 deal.
And right into the inside wall goes the 19. And that's going to be a lot of rear end, front end damage for himself to deal with, but it looks like not into the suspension, so we might be able to get some damage repaired and stay in this fight. Is Dangler, who had a pretty good qualifying run, 13th here tonight, and hoping for a good top 15, top 10 finish at the end of this evening. Pit stops underway, lap 52 for the field, and this was around the zone we were expecting a lot of our first pit stops of the day to be, so this fits in resetting the field, I would say, Zach. So if we go green, expecting just one stop from here on out, but certainly helps the battle between Jared Talmadge, John Forbes. They get more data on how they want to fight on forward once again.
That's for sure. Yeah, we'll see how this works out, because the big thing that I got to give Forbes credit for is that last week, we look at Rockingham. He took off for that first run, and well, yeah, he was running second or third, but he was falling off pace very quickly, falling back into the depths of some of the drivers behind him. And he completely learned from that situation, completely changed his driving style, and then became the best driver on the long run. So it is something that this 11 has in his playbook to edit the style that he's using, and I think that is going to be critical here, because clearly right there the 27 just showed he's going to have the muscle when it comes to the longer run. The 11 is going to need to figure something out.
And experience showing for John Forbes on aggressive pit stops, as he was aggressively getting into his box way more than Jared Talmadge. Talmadge being a little bit more lenient on the way that he got in, costing him on the battle off a pit road. John Forbes going to be that control vehicle, and that is all the hard work that Talmadge just put in. Throw it away. You might have to fight for another 20 laps before he gets another chance to go for this lead position. As the drivers stack up, get ready to go. I want to say thank you to some of the amazing sponsors that help out here in the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. Larry R Productions, if you want to get yourself some great videos to help you throughout the day, from food reviews to just humor content, they've got you covered. Go check out Larry Arts Production on Instagram, TikTok, as well on YouTube. Also, Morecast. Check out how they help you out at checking out different diecasts for NASCAR and more. We also want to say thank you to our Lucky Dilla Award winners, as the Armadillo Motorsports team sponsors your Lucky Dilla Award. Whoever is the first driver one lap down at the time of caution who gets the wave around, they are awarded as the Lucky Dilla. We also want to say thank you to our white flag sponsor, Gridless Graphics. Go check out the great graphics that you can find at Gridless Graphics today. And our camera providers here for Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Whiplash SimCams. Thank you to Whiplash SimCams, as we will take a look at our Whiplash SimCams biggest mover of the day here in just a few laps. As we enter into the restart zone, it's John Forbes, Jared Talmadge, Thomas Green, back to green flag racing as we roar down into turn number 1.
Here we go, Sam. This is going to be interesting to see how this run changes up from the last. What did these drivers learn? Because right now it is going to be go time for a few. Is right here Thomas Green on the inside of his teammate Jared Talmadge. I think he's going to be fighting to try to control this to stay right here with him. But look, Trenton Jump immediately going to look to the inside, 3 wide, as we're getting a little bit aggressive up front here, boys.
And this is the first time we're really seeing the non-chase drivers putting on the pressure of the chase drivers, as teammates almost squeeze of Green and Talmadge. Gotta try to be careful off into turn number 4. Now going to be seeing Trent Jump once again, dive bombing it into turn number 1. The 46 just sending and using all the grip that's left in this machine. And it's putting Vincent Sora in a tricky spot. He's got the space to go high, low, anywhere he wants to go, but it's just a wall, and he can't figure out where the safest place is to be. Jump once again goes down low, but not able to clear, as Thomas Green with a better run for the 3 machine. Forbes with a slight wiggle, and here we go. It's a battle for the lead position. It's Green, it's Talmadge, it's Forbes, down into turn number 1 for the lead position.
Wow, what a move made by the 3 and the 27. They immediately take advantage of the 11's misfortune, and right there, Talmadge slides up on the exit right in front of him, almost wrecking off the exit of 2 there as the 11 looked to the middle, but he just couldn't do it because the 3 closes the door.
3 closes the door. Now going to be Trent Jump also into Vincent Sora. They're almost using up each other through the center of the corner. Exit, it's Jared Talmadge pulling the block. They're boxing in the 11, who whips it to the outside. 3 wide once again as we go into turn number 1, but Forbes not close enough. He has to back out once again, and it's just the back and forth cat and mouse game that we're going to be seeing as our top 4. It's Vincent Sora, it's John Forbes. Can they get by the Planet Sim Racing drivers? Because enter in Justin Sipes, another Planet Sim driver that wants to enter the fray as well. It's going to be Isaac Shelley, all 4 of them. This is the danger that you don't want to see. It's the teammate factor growing even bigger, but Forbes to the top spot.
This race is going to be wild down to the end. It's always some contact between Sipes and the 46 and Trenton Jump, but luckily we get away from that, as now Vincent Sora here. He's going to run that middle groove right behind the 3 Thomas Green. We'll see what he tries to do as he sees his 2 championship protagonists in front of him.
Where do you want to fight? Where do you think is the best place to go? That's going to be seeing the Cocker Sora Forbes Racing drivers of John Forbes, Vincent Sora, picking and choosing. Inside low row seems to be the better spot as they're trying to save their tires for this long run, as Jared Talmadge trying to get back to that lead position, recognizing the clean air is so important to have. Thomas Green trying to assist at moments, but he's just trying to be a bigger factor to kind of mess with the 11, it seems like, as we go 3 wide once again for the lead spot. Thomas Green now to the top spot.
Great job by the 3 to pull that maneuver off. That was excellent. It's also contact between the 11 and the 27. That bounces Forbes down the racetrack. We're going 3 wide once again. The 27 to the outside. John Forbes to the inside.
They go high, they go low, and let's see the middle once again. And it's John Forbes. Big dive move for himself, but just not strong enough. Thomas Green rips his way up to the outside wall, carrying the most momentum. A little bit of a bump draft from the teammate, as that was Planet Sim Racing going to be 1-2 as they continue to try to hold back. Forbes, Sora, jump, and it looks like for also Shelley and Sipes, they're starting to back off, not even keep up the pace that we're seeing from our top 4. Top 5 basically are just putting on a show right now of what it is like to make it to the final race of the season, where everyone's practicing the most. They put all the time and effort knowing that this is the race that is going to crown you a champion.
This is wild, Sam. This is what it all comes down to right here. Everything put on the line, and we're not even halfway through this race yet. Drivers still got a long way to go, and they're going to be showing all the way that they want to win this championship. Is Green out front just driving away right now. That is impressive to see. But if you're Talmadge right now, it's going to be interesting to see how does Forbes, try to come back at you. It's not over from that 11. He's going to fight till the bitter end. So you've got to be thinking about what he's going to do and not even too worried really about your teammate. Just tell your teammate, go out there and lead as many laps as you can, trying to go steal those bonus points and maybe the most laps led away from the 11.
If you haven't voted yet, we've got our vote of who do you think is going to win the championship. Will it be Jared Talmadge? Could it be the 27 of that Jared Talmadge machine, the 11 of John Forbes, the 15 of Vincent Sora, or the extreme underdog of Joshua Kanata, who, for Kanata, he needs these drivers that are currently 2nd, 3rd, and 4th just to wreck themselves, and that would give the best opportunity for the 16, but the only problem is he's running back in 14th position, needs a perfect race to take the championship. But Zach, I'm looking at the field up front. We were given 4 extra sets of tires in pit road to work with, already used up 2 before we even got done with 50 laps of this race. And it's been a caution that so far early in the trends, but every 20 to 25 laps, we've seen a caution come out. If we continue with this pace, you're gonna run out of tires. In one of these future stops, you might not be able to take a set, and that's just where the mind games could be kicking in if we see another caution come out in the next 10 to 15 laps.
That's for sure. If we get a caution very soon, with only 2 sets of tires left, you're not going to be willing to risk burning one of those sets right now, especially. I mean, that is definitely a situation you don't want to be put in. And right now, they're really hoping this goes, so to say, a full run before we get any type of yellow, because they do not want to be in that position where you're right on the edge of wanting to burn that extra set of tires. So it's going to be very wild. As actually right now, John Forbes is up ahead. He's gotten around Jared Talmadge.
It's gotten by Talmadge, but he's only in 2nd place, and that's exactly where this 27 wants to see the 11. As long as Forbes does not win this race, Talmadge is in a perfect spot to try to stop the 15 and the 11's hopes of a championship. It is ultimately going to come down to, does Talmadge slip up and get himself into trouble where he just falls outside of the top 5? Or will the 11 or 15 get a win here tonight that could just wipe away all of this hard work that Talmadge has done for this chase? As Vincent Sora now is going to duck to the inside, and for Talmadge, he has to stay within 1 position of Vincent Sora. As long as Sora's not winning, just stay within 1 spot, and that is a great place to know, hey, I know where my competition is, and I know exactly where I need to place myself to take a championship.
That's for sure, yeah. Right now, he can see everything out of his front windshield, and that's preferred. At least they're right there in front of you, and you can kind of have an opportunity. So I think he's going to try to take what he's learned through this race and improve. I mean, the 15 clearly hasn't been the better of these 3 right here. But if anything, don't put it past him, because we've seen drivers, they make the adjustments. They get better as the race goes on. The track even evolves and changes just that little bit with the rubber being put down, the temperatures dropping. So it's very critical to stay on top of the track, as you see our weather conditions right there now at the bottom right of our screen.
Yeah, weather conditions, air temperature, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp, I think it's the biggest shocker of the night. It is a nice 87 degrees Fahrenheit. I know we were dealing with that day to night transition, but with it being full nighttime spot for us, it being 87, we're expecting that to continue to drop as the race goes on. Another wild factor, wind, not even really there. I mean, there is barely any wind that these drivers are dealing with, so it is strictly just on the drivers based off the grip of the track that are the main two factors of this evening, and also dirty air on how that's going to change up tonight's race. Two drivers, though, of note, watch out as this run progresses. Nick Crawford, Joshua Stovall, and Ollie Fonseca, they have been pacing themselves. They're back in 8th, 9th, and 10th. They are slowly starting to catch up to our top 6, and I'm curious on what speed Crawford and Stovall might have, as they have been now seeing the swappage of drivers that are saving tires and those that were pushing. We're starting to see those who are saving now starting to get that surge.
That's for sure. I'm starting to see the lap times definitely drop from our leaders up front, and we're seeing the fast times really around the 8th, 9th, 10th position, like you said, Sam. So yeah, those drivers that kind of backed up from the pack, lost a little bit of time early, starting to gain it back now. The question is that time going to be enough to make quick and easy passes, or will you catch them and kind of be stuck in their dirty air? That's always the telltale sign of how much tire you can save, because you got to overcome that air in front of you, and that is not a tough or not an easy task to do sometimes.
Absolutely not. And also going to be the thing of, if you have teammates or alliance drivers ahead of you, how well are they going to race? And are they willing to give you just space to work with, or is everyone fighting for those positions currently, as we're now entering closer and closer to that 20-lap run of using this set of tires? This is where we've been seeing drivers get into the outside wall and bring out our last couple of yellows. Will we see a caution in the next 5 to 8 laps? Because that's where I'm predicting, if we continue on the trend that we've seen so far, that's where we could be seeing our next caution, which could cost some of these drivers up front to make the hard decision. Do you pit for tires or just fuel? As you're seeing Stovall, he's still within a little bit of margin of trying to catch up to drivers ahead. Here's another driver further on back, Samuel Garcia, who I feel like if Garcia next season, if he can somehow make a big jump in his driving development over the offseason, he could be a big factor of making the chase. It might be even a factor to try to go for that top 8 position-wise in the chase if he has a great run. And just because of the driver development we've seen on Wednesday nights and Monday nights these last couple of seasons.
It has been impressive. Yeah, the 50 has been definitely on the upwards trend. Not only in just ISRC, like you said, but also WSSR. So it's been very impressive to see, and at some point that's going to come through to him where it is a playoff spot, and he's going to be battling for more than just, you know, the 8th place finishes in races and top 5s in races. He's going to be battling for top 5s in points. So it's going to be very, very cool to see how that transition can be made maybe throughout the next seasons, but we'll just have to watch that growth. As right now we're watching some battling back here around 16th. This is Noah Steele and Ryan Ferraro as they're grouped up right behind Kanata and Moniz.
And Noah Steele, a driver who has seen great success here at these 1.5-mile courses of Chicagoland and Kansas, kind of sister tracks, you could say. There are some extreme differences in both, but very similar in the ways that you want to drive them, of either stay very low or you rip the top. And Noah Steele taking it easy here tonight, runs in 16, not really showing the most wicked speed that we've seen in the past by this 8, but taking his time. We'll see how well he can climb his way forward as other drivers are starting to fall away. Here's Justin Smith, who in the Grimace 45 McDonald's machine. I know for Smith, he was hoping that this season was going to be his big jump up to be fighting for top 10 finishes. He's had moments in time of speed, but ultimately hasn't been there fully. Here's a shot of our admins of the ISRC Truck Series. Other admin that's showing with them is Joshua Kanata this season. See the 91 of Mark Morales and the 19 Tyler Dangler, that are both kind of in sit back and settle modes. They don't seem to be in any type of we need to fight quickly. Tyler coming off of that hard contact to the inside wall in the back stretch after his contact with Logan Brakey. Martin just doesn't look like he's got the pace here tonight. They're enjoying their run further on back. Ryan Ferraro in 18th position, but up front, driver that we're starting to see the fall off once again, 20 laps into a green flag run. Zach, it's John Forbes. I don't know what's going on, but 20 laps into a green flag run, he just falls apart at the center of the corner. He is struggling to find footing as Vincent Soares putting the pressure on the outside.
Yeah, Sora has found something here. The 15, we thought at one point he was on life support almost when it came to his pace late in the, that last run. And it seems to something has clicked. He's moved to the top side. That's the one thing I've noticed. He's kind of committed to no longer run the bottom. He's just saying, I'm just going to go up here and run the top. And it really seems to be working for the 15. The 11, though, like you said, the center of the corner really seems to be a tough spot for him. He's been able to get to the inside of the 15 a few times, but he cannot drive it through the center quick enough to clear that 15. So it is something that he's going to have to manage, but I don't think he's going to completely fall apart. I just think he's having a tough job of really, keeping pace sometimes and just getting a little bit too much out of the truck and pushing that nose.
And it looks like for Vincent Sora, after getting by John Forbes, he's starting to see that same problem, center corner speed. He's just getting very close to that outside wall where he's backing off, losing all the exit speed that he's hoping to grab. For the 15 and the 11, they're just swapping back and forth in positions. That last lap, John Forbes, fastest driver of those in our top 3, but the fastest driver of our top 4. It's at 27 to Jared Talmadge. He has just been running the bottom, letting this competition, trying to figure out how to get by Thomas Green. And it is more so of seeing the teammates, Forbes, Sora, battling one another instead of trying to figure out who can be that lead control vehicle.
You're going to see here close racing there. Forbes almost got in the wall, and Sora was sliding up the track. It's going to slow them both up here as now the 27 inches that much closer. And again, that time by Jared Talmadge, the fastest car in the top 5. So with this 27, once again, finding the pace that others can't. And the one thing I like about the 27, he seems really smooth. I haven't seen the truck step out sideways. He hadn't had big moments. And when he runs the bottom, it just looks very, very smooth. So I think this 27 is still working his way forward and finding the pace that he needs. But his teammate Thomas Green, I feel like, is also doing a great job of just leading this race and taking laps led away from these other 2.
Yeah, just placing a little bit of dirty air on the outside. The 3 continues to rip the top, and looks like that can also be an influence on why that driver in second place kind of starts to struggle at times as they get tight through the center because of that dirty air. And once again, Forbes, Sora backing off. Just a bad exit where both of them are pinching into one another, and it's hurting the driver on the inside. And Jared Talmadge, because of how smooth he's been in the struggle of the center of the corner, that inside row looking very strong off the exit of the corner if you just keep good pace, which Talmadge has been doing.
That he has been. Talmadge has just been very, very methodical. And the one thing I'm seeing from Sora is he's pushing. He's really got the right rear out, and I think that's the one struggle for him. It doesn't seem like his truck is on the tighter side. It seems like his exits just can't carry the speed that he wants in that rear end of that truck anymore. So he's having a tough time putting the power down. Forbes is having a tough time keeping the nose from pushing up the track, while Talmadge here just looks a little bit smoother. So we'll see if they can keep working it. But Green, once again out front, still controlling this race. So he's done an excellent job also.
Great control, great speed. I'm loving what I'm seeing up front by Thomas Green. A couple of drivers, though, deeper in the field I'm getting concerned about. We'll keep our camera set, but a couple of drivers I'm worried about. The 8 of Noah Steele, he's been looking a little bit out of sorts off the exit of the corner. Also, 7th place runner Ali Fonseca, as well as Justin Sipes in 6th, have both been looking very close to the outside wall through the center of the corner, and they just look like one bad slip up, and their race could be bringing in another driver of an incident coming out, or a yellow flag is just looming around those 2 sets of drivers, the battle for 13th and also the battle for 7th.
Yeah, there's been some pretty good battles here between these drivers, and a lot of these drivers were the ones that were kind of managing their stuff, but it doesn't seem like the management has gone away. It seems like a lot of these guys have kind of fell into the pace of each other, and that can happen very easily, especially at a track where it's, a lot of times, especially on the longer runs, kind of becomes a little bit more one groove. A lot of people migrate up to this top side that we're seeing Ali Fonseca right here as we ride on board and hit with him. You really kind of migrate up here, because if you can't make the bottom work, at least the outside will help you carry momentum, and I think that's why you see majority of the field migrate to there. It's not always the fastest, but it is just really the easier spot to run. So we'll see how these drivers can navigate, but it definitely seems like a lot of them have fell into each other's pace here and just kind of fell into a single line.
Ali Fonseca trying to figure out another attempt to get by Justin Sipes. They'll go with the big dive bomb move to the inside. Open for the slide job pass. Not going to be the case just yet. Finally going to slice his way up, but there's just too much space and a little bit of contact between the 82 and 24. Here's Nick Crawford, Joshua Stovall. They're getting a great show of the 24 and 82 going back and forth for themselves. And Ollie Fonseca trying to commit that pass fully, just not able to do so, as now it's going to be 2 by 2 when Fonseca falls in line. Stovall will attempt once again. As Crawford gets clear, he'll drop to the inside, and they continue to fight on in this middle battle. This is 6th all the way back to 9th. There's also some other great battles happening deeper in the field. The battle for 16th place. It's Dakota Moniz as well as Logan Brakey and Justin Smith, all battling for this 16th place.
Great battles definitely happening back here, and Moniz was trying his best to clear the 29, but just couldn't do it off the exit. And again, this is just that preferred spot to be on the corner, and now Moniz is going to lose a little bit of pace there off the exit, and now it's going to allow the 45 of Justin Smith here to get to the inside. So it just shows you go to pass someone else, and then you can't make that pass. It kind of slows you up, so it's very tough. As now look, Ferrari here, I think on fresher tires, he's going to be coming through, and it just shows you the grip he's got with the wrecking.
Oh no, there's the spin, the wreck. It's a big one for the 545 to go around. And Zach, this was that caution I was talking about. It's so close to their time that they were looking for, but you're 20 laps shy for the final pit stop of the day. And now it's the hard decision. Do you pit now for tires or just fuel, as Smith as well as Dakota Moniz get caught up in the pinch of Ferraro? And here's another look at it. Like you said, fresh tires for the 10. And I don't think this group was aware of the speed that Ryan Ferraro had.
Yeah, I think they were kind of caught off guard here a little bit, Sammy. Like you said, they're racing here, battling. Look at Ferraro. I mean, how much faster he is down the back straightaway with the speed he can carry with those tires. He's going to look to go right through the middle of these drivers, but it's going to be a slight bit of contact here as the 45 just kind of makes spooks maybe the 10 up the track, and that causes him to get loose to come down into him. So it's just a tough situation right there, and Smith going to take a heavy hit to the nose right there on the front straightaway.
They're going to be seeing this caution. Everyone expected to go into pit road, get service done. Question is, what type of service are you looking for? Everybody, 2 sets of tires left in their box to work with. Ryan Ferraro only 1 set left as he made his green flag pit stop 11 laps ago. And we saw John Forbes able to make the pass for the lead under pit stop situation. Just had a faster pit stop than Jared Talmadge. Can Thomas Green keep the control vehicle spot on this restart? It all comes down to this pit stop. Don't overshoot your box. Get in quickly. And who can leave the fastest, as everyone entering in tires, fuel expected for most, as everyone waits to take off. Seeing everyone raised on those tires. It's tires and fuel for everybody. John Forbes takes off and go, and he once again is going to be the driver that's going to exit out of pit road the fastest, and Vincent Sora with the big climb. It's a huge fall for the 3 of Thomas Green from the lead all the way down to 12th place for himself.
Yeah, I went back and looked at it, and he had to back up, and then I believe actually had to back up and go forward and change. Like, it looked like he was almost even too far to the left. So that is the worst possible case. And yeah, Green is definitely going to be feeling that. And if you're Forbes now, this opens up the light and the door to leading the most laps once again. I think that is a huge 3 points that could be a swing situation if one of these 3 don't win. So those 3 bonus points could be the difference.
And with drivers exiting out of this race of Ryan Ferraro, Dakota Moniz, you can also close the case for Joshua Kanata. His hopes of a championship are officially snuffed out. There's just not enough points to be grabbed for the 16. And it was a great season. Now his sights are set for 4th overall in points. As going to be John Forbes hoping for himself to get a good launch up front. Vincent Sora as well. As we're getting the replay of this pit stop. It's currently what we're looking at is the field is awaiting to go, as they have been given the 1 to go. But here is that pit stop for the 3 that everything just went wrong for himself. And Zach, I mean, so simple. You go into your box, you hope that it's a quick one, but it's so easy to make major mistakes like this.
It really is. And you see right there, just first it was the slide through. Then he backed up, had to back up more to get farther back left. And yeah, just tough situation for Thomas there, as he's going to lose out on a ton of track position. But the speed he had, won't be surprised that 3 is back in the situation up here once again.
And he's going to be all the way back from the lead to 12th for Thomas Green. Up front, It's the teammates in line. Going to be seeing John Forbes, Vincent Sora going to be 1-2 with Jared Talmadge on the inside. Ali Fonseca going to be the outer groove. What does Sipes? What does Crawford have? And also, what is the rest of the field? As we enter the restart zone, your ISRC finale is back underway. And now it's the mind games. We've got 60 laps to go here tonight. One set of tires left for practically everyone in the field. And it's John Forbes, Jared Talmadge going to be in line. Do they go aggressive or do you stay patient as Vincent Sora just falling back? He just falls down to the battle for third as Sipes looks good. This crossover for that third place position.
Sipes there trying to take that spot away from Sora and does it just like that. As Sora now going to have place Fonseca and jump right behind him. We'll see how this all shakes out. But right now, Jared Talmadge all over the back bumper. And the leader, John Forbes, as you can see here, close contact almost between the 46 and the 24 on the trio one.
And Vincent Sora gets to the inside. Now he's going to be going for his own slide jump move. Sipes has to drop down low, and everyone going back and forth to the top position. We ride on more Trent jump. You can see ahead the battling. It's teammates trying to help one another, but it's Justin Sipes going aggressive, and Forbes pushed up to the outside wall. He just was trying to defend, doesn't want this 82 to take that lead position, and might have just crossed himself into the outside wall a little bit too far. Now it's going to be almost 3 wide for the lead again. Forbes just cannot get a breath for himself being in the lead spot. Everyone knows you cannot let this 11 settle in, and that's why we're seeing all this pressure right now for himself up front.
Look at this, the 82 going to drive it in there a couple car lengths deeper, and he's going to take advantage and take control of the lead here. Is now, what does Forbes do to fire back? Is Talmadge under threat farther back as he's getting stuck up behind the 24 Fonseca and the 46 a jump here as he's falling back into their clutches.
It was just a little wiggle out of 4, and it gave a chance for the rest of the field to pounce on the 27. Luckily able to grasp these positions back and settles into 4th place as now Vincent Sora, John Forbes, they get back to battling side by side. And for John Forbes, he needs to make sure that these tires work this go around. This stint is so crucial as he goes for the big slide job move to the inside. Crossover by the 11. Almost able to make that pass, and will make the pass cleanly for himself. But Zach, I feel like this is the run. If we see John Forbes start to see center, speed fall off 20 laps to a run, we know we've got a serious issue going into the last stint of tires that we're expecting to have as big side-by-side racing by the 15 and the 11 as they go down into turn number 3.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see Vincent Sora here try to lead a lap. That's probably what the 15 has in his mind here, is the 11 is going to jump back to the outside quarter panel, and now the 15 is going to have to just watch forward and see what he can do to get around Sipes, who we know is going to be trying to lead this here for his teammate of Jared Talmadge. So this is going to be an interesting fight once the 15 gets to this 82, but I don't know if he will be able to do it yet because the 82 seems to be pushing very hard.
If you're just joining us, the bottom ticker, that is where we see P1, P2, P3. Those are your live point standings. There are 2 bonus points that are not going to be added until the race is over. That's being, if you get 0 incident points for the whole entire race, you get 1 bonus point. And if you win the race, that's 10 bonus points. And all the other bonus points are being shown here live. And currently, it's Jared Talmadge with his teammate of Justin Sipes leading this race, would win the championship by 1 point over Vincent Sora, and then would win by 2 points over John Forbes, just showing how close this point championship is with all the bonus points out there, with how close we were entering tonight. Vincent Sora knows how crucial this 1 lap lead could be for his 15's championship hopes.
That he does. He knows he has to go out here and really try to grab this back from these guys and get any bonus point you can, because right now he's definitely on the back foot when it comes to that, when the other 2 having led a lap. Is right now he's setting his sights on the 82, but again, this is going to be a tough pass, and the thing is too, he can't try to go for this pass and then hurt himself from the drivers behind, because if he doesn't get clear and he doesn't get it done, he's going to be quickly going backwards with the other drivers side drafting him and pulling him back. Is right here is exactly what I was worried about. This 82 just pulls him back, and now contact even being made.
Contact made, and it was Sipes by 9 thousandths of a second. Led that lap over Vincent Sora, and Sora so close to that 1 bonus point for himself. Now it's a slot back in line with John Forbes, who gets the big push into turn number 3. Other drivers starting to throw their hat into the mix. Ollie Fonseca starting to get a little bit more mixy of fighting for 4th place, with Talmadge as well with Forbes. Joshua Stovall now into the mix for himself, and Thomas Green, who restarted in 12th, he's back up to 7th place for himself currently, and it's just a back and forth brawl for these drivers up front, and this is first about 8 laps of green flag racing since our last restart.
It's definitely been a brawl, Sam, and I think that's going to continue till we get the checkered flag. This is the last race of the season. They're all putting it on the line. Everybody wants to go out there and end their season in a classic fashion by winning this race, and right now, everybody is out here fighting like it's for the championship.
Everyone going back and forth, further on back. We've got our Whiplash Simcam's biggest mover of the race so far, and that's its own battle between Joshua Stovall in his 42 and Nick Crawford in the 74. Currently, it's Crawford up 12 spots as he's trying to gain another one, as this is your Whiplash Simcam's biggest mover of the race so far, 100 laps in. We'll see who it is by the end of the race, but Crawford, big diving move for himself as he recognizes he wants to get another chance to win before the season's over, as they're getting mixy between the 3, the 46, and the 74 in the middle as they head into turn number 1. This is battling for just 7th place currently.
It's wild because, I mean, you see the differences here. Thomas Green was at one point leading this race, really kind of controlling it, now back in the mix and just kind of stuck in that position. It's very tough to get passes done here when you're in this situation. So Green trying everything possible, but just the speed that propelled him to the lead isn't able to work his way around these drivers yet.
And we're starting to see trouble for our leader, Justin Sipes. He's starting to have that center off speed loss, just too aggressive on the entry, and it really hurt him off the exit of turn 4. Almost gave a chance for Vincent Sora to take that lead spot, and we're starting to see the swing. Forbes took it way more patient this go around. The 11, I think he's going to have that better long run pace on this stint, which was so crucial as Sipes brushing the wall. That's what those sparks were as the 82 exits the corner. Can Sora get the pass done this go around? Not going to be the case. And if for Sora, he needs to make this pass in the next lap or 2 because Forbes is charging right now with some good pace.
That is, and he also doesn't want to get too close if this 82 does get up in the wall, because if you get right up behind him, you have nowhere to go when he loses all that speed. But right here down the back straightaway, going to pull a little bit of a side draft. Can he get close enough here in the center to be able to clear the 82? The 82 up the track, way up the racetrack, and I think the 15 will finally clear here, but the thing is, will the 82 play nice on the exit?
Plays nice for now, but crosses over to the inside, but across the line, it looks to be Vincent Sora. No, it's Sipes by 0.004 of a second at the line. Sora's yet to lead a lap.
Oh man, that is a heartbreaker for Sora there to lose that lead like that. But this right here, worst case scenario, now Forbes, what does he do? He's going to drop it all the way to the bottom 3 wide, and I was expecting maybe to push the 82 past the 15 to be in position, but the 11 immediately says, no, I'm going for the lead here, and this could get dicey on the exit.
Exit of the corner, Sipes into the wall. He just throws his own race away to let the other 2 drive on. Now Sipes trying to get out of the way for Jared Talmadge to get back into the mix. Cross the line, Sora did lead that lap, so bonus point to the 15. And now the championship is back on as Sora tries to hold back, but the 11 of John Forbes is too strong, and they're almost making contact on the exit 2.
Ooh, deep breaths, everybody. This is getting so close and so hectic because right now, Sora, just by an inch, like you said, leads that lap. That's huge for him. That could have been dire situations if the 11 got immediately back to the lead there, but he's able to capitalize and get around the 82 to control the lead now. What can Sora do with clean air? That is going to be the critical thing. He hasn't had it all night. Maybe this will be the key for this 15.
We know Vincent Sora, when he gets that top spot, it is so hard to take it back unless Sora does his own kind of just sabotage moments that throws his own race away. But for Vincent Sora, early troubles, early mistakes getting into that outside wall, and he is back into this fight for himself. John Forbes, though, doing everything in his power. He's really done a much better job at salvaging his tires for this exact run. That could be the critical moment of it. We're expecting at least one more pit stop before this race is over. And if Forbes can have the tires to just salvage something for a late pit stop, he is going to be one of the fastest drivers there late. The question is, can you stop the 11 as Jared Talmadge now dives to the inside? The 3 fighting for the championship are your 3 drivers in the top 3.
Beautiful sights to see right here. Sam in the 27 looks very strong. He just rolled the bottom so well there, exited with enough momentum to stay completely alongside the 11. That is exactly what you want to see. If you can make even ground on the exit, you will be able to make passes on the bottom because you just have that shorter distance. And look at that, Talmadge to second like nothing. That is beautiful to see for him. And if you're Sora, you're looking in your mirror going, man, he hit that bottom look really, really good. What do I do now? Do I go defend it or do I run up top? But I think it's going to be the best case for him, probably just to stick up top if you feel more comfortable.
10 people have voted in so far, and we're expecting 40% have voted in, saying that they expect Jared Talmadge to win this championship here tonight. 30% think that it could be John Forbes. 20% think that it could be Vincent Sora, and the lone voter just hoping to see if Josh cannot add a chance. Well, sadly, he's ran out of points positions. His championship hopes are done. It is just these three drivers on who is going to hoist the Season 8 ISRC Lara Productions Trophy. The question is, though, when it comes down to this final pit stop, who's going to be in the best position to make the final strike? Or is it the driver that is up front leading, who is in complete control there, that's going to be in the best position? Here's the battle for 6th place, as we're seeing Thomas Green, Joshua Stovall, and Trent Jump having their own duels, as the three would love to get another chance to battle up front with those top three.
And he would, but he's just been stuck here. This has just been so unfortunate. He's gotten the 7th to 8th, and it's just kind of stalled out for the 3 event here. He's trying to make passes on the bottom, but the thing is, when you're in this train like this line of trucks, you go to make a pass on someone, then immediately you lose momentum by not clearing that person. You lose a position due to it. So it's one of those positions where it's almost better to just wait and take advantage of people who are trying to pass in front of you and take advantage of them making easy passes. But at the same time, you just can't sit in position and wait. You're running out of time for Thomas Green. So this is a tough situation. And if anything, he's got to find the speed that Jump is right there, be able to just roll the bottom past these two.
And Jump's one of those drivers that was up front battling for a top 4, and he kind of just fell away, let those drivers race as aggressively as they wanted, and just has continued to rip the bottom for himself. As Stovall, a little bit of contact between himself and Thomas Green there on the entry of the corner. Luckily for Stovall, stays off the outside wall. Green grips the top. Continue to move on as they get in line. Single file racing so far. Championship hopes are still alive for 3 drivers. Vincent Sora, Jared Talmadge, John Forbes continue to go back and forth, but Vincent Sora, you gotta be careful. Big wiggle, almost threw himself into the outside wall. They're up the exit of turn 4, and Jared Talmadge's best opportunity to get back to the lead spot for the 27 is now. Vincent Sora, can he get a good run as he exits at turn number 2? We're starting to get that same motion again, Zach, where it's the center off. Does the 15, just one small mistake, will give away this lead position?
Oh, this is getting in a very interesting situation now because they both have the ability to race like this, because Forbes is a couple truck links back. You know, right now, if you're Talmadge, you don't have to really worry about your outside being too disadvantaged here. He's just focusing on trying to make the pass. But look, Forbes with the big cut of the apron there, and those two side drafted in front of him, he closed the gap by a couple truck links. So this is now getting in a situation where if you're Jarrett, you need to get the pass done because quickly you're going to be losing second here if anything.
And it's not looking good for 4th on back to catch up to you. They just haven't had the pace to really run down our top 3, even as they battle side by side. It is strictly just these 3 drivers on who's going to get the top position. Sora once again close to the outside wall. Jared Talmadge focusing more on the 15 as John Forbes cuts the corner on the straightaway once again, and almost with a chance to go 3 wide. He backs out. Forbes settles in. Where will the 11 go off the exit of the corner as Jared Talmadge? It just seems like his focus has just been on Vincent Sora, and there is no worry about that driver in your mirror, but you might want to think about where this 11 might be as we head into turn number 1, because the speed is about to be massive for John Forbes here.
This is Talmadge's chance there. He had the better center of the corner, and he was able to get it done. Now Sora just elects to push the 27, but here comes the 11. Again, running that apron, able to close gaps down. And look at this. Now he's going to fight for second here. Can Sora hold back the 11, or does he let him go up here and fight the 27? That is really the question in mind. These two, of course, teammates, and you know, not teammates technically with Talmadge, but you know, definitely, so to say, you know, teammates in other leagues. So definitely going to be friendly with each other. But right here, I think if you're Sora, you can't fight too hard and let the 27 get away. But he's going to still fight, and the 11 almost doesn't clear himself good enough.
almost just said, Jared Talmadge take the championship now, as those two drivers of the 15 of Vincent Sora, John Forbes, both with a big sigh of relief that their races aren't over just yet. But Forbes able to clear. Now his sights are set on Jared Talmadge's Vincent Sora. He needs a pit stop. The question is, when do you make this final stop? As we have just been keeping our eyes just set on the championship, these top three. There's a few drivers of note. What a run they're having right now. Martin Morales, 10th place runner. Where did he come from? 10th place for the 91. He was running last at a moment in time. Now with a chance for one of his best finishes of the season. And as well as we moved over to this 91, our second green flag pit stop is underway. Michael Miller into pit road, and Isaac Shelley was the first driver to make a pit stop. We're starting to see those runs now as we're coming up to 30 laps to go here for the ISRC finale.
Yeah, this is going to come down to pit stops too, Sam, in my opinion. Getting on and off of pit road is going to be so critical here as we watch Green try to find his way around Ali Fonseca to break into the top 6 here. But it is going to be so critical getting on and off of pit road, especially no mistakes. We saw the 3 here, how big a mistake he had under caution. You know, caution, yeah, you'll lose positions, but on the track, you'll lose seconds of time. So this is going to be critical here when we get to this phase. Who's going to be the first to flinch, though? If anything, I think the 15 has to, and he's coming down this time, Sam.
Vincent Sora couldn't wait any longer. He's going to make this stop for himself. Behind is also going to be Thomas Green. Joshua Stovall going to be following in suit. You do not want to get caught with a black flag penalty. If you get caught speeding going into pit road, that is a 40-second hold. You are going at least 1 lap down, potentially 2. And that pit road speed, it's slow. It's just 45 miles per hour you have to get to. But here we go. Vincent Sora, his first stop in the green flag pit stop. It's a conservative one, but he gets into his box cleanly. No reversals or having to go forward. He gets up those tires up. This is his final set of tires for this race. You better hope that we get no caution from here on out if you're Vincent Sora. Other drivers that we expect to hit pit road from our front 2. Will we see Jared Talmadge or John Forbes flinch? Do they make this stop now, or do they wait for another lap? They continue to stay out for at least an extra lap. But Zach, you gotta have a feeling that one of these 2 drivers has to pit at this go-around.
That's for sure. And if anything, the pit stop from Thomas Green is the one that would concern me for these 2, because if anything, you don't want to see multiple trucks jumping. You know, one truck jumping you would be okay, so to say, but multiple trucks, that would be a big issue. So definitely don't want to wait too long here for those drivers, but this will be a critical time here. And if anything, I looked at the lap times when they come to pit road there. Sora definitely, like you said, Sam, very easy when it came to pit road. He lost about a half a second even to Thomas Green on the entry of pit road. So I'm interested to see what's the difference between these top 2 here when they come. And look, Talmadge, he's not waiting. He's going to come down this time, and we'll see what type of lap time it is. And it looks pretty conservative.
Yeah, it looks very conservative. My main reason might be because his teammate, Justin Sipes, just had a massive slide entering pit road. Black flag for the 82, who was running 4th at the time of this pit cycle starting. Now we're going to be seeing this, going to be 27 machine. Jared Talmadge, this pit stop could be your money stop, or it could be the stop that puts the nail in the coffin for your championship. Very conservative entering pit road, very conservative into his box. Now we look at our driver up front. It's John Forbes. Where will he be? Can he find himself being aggressive on his pit entry, or is he going to be conservative? It looks like it's always John Forbes willing to be aggressive, willing to be on that fine line. And the 11, this could be his championship stop if he gets in quick.
I'll tell you, he gains so much time right here, Sam. I always base it off of that lap time that you have coming into pit road. He was a 43.85. I'm pretty sure the last time there, Jared Talmadge was a 44.72. So you're almost seeing a second on the entry of pit road there from that 11, and it's going to show up here very quickly. He's going to come out pretty much dead even with this 27, if not maybe ahead.
He's going to be ahead. I got a feeling he's just going to blitz on by, even with the way this 27 ran. I mean, just entering pit road. Now is Jared Talmadge exiting out of turn number 2. It is over a second gain, almost 2 seconds as Jared Talmadge is going to be 1 second behind as they enter into turn number 3. Finally up to speed. Talmadge losing time, even though he pitted a lap earlier. This is a nightmare for the 27. Now his hopes are to hope that this 11 nor the 15 get into victory lane.
Yeah, I was watching the lap times as people came in there, and it just, Talmadge, just very conservative. Same for Vincent Sora. Both were in the 44 6s and 7s when it came to those times in. John Forbes, though, 43.8. That is almost a full second quicker, and it's showing. I mean, he literally jumps out way ahead of him, has a better even exit off the exit of pit road. And it just shows you, like I said earlier, pit stops was going to be the make and break in this situation. When the green flag stops, you can make up seconds of time over your competition just in that. With how close it's been all night, that is going to be possibly the winning deciding factor there, because this is their last set of tires.
This is it. And if we get a caution, you might be hoping that maybe you salvage something and you make your way with these passes. But currently, with the way they run, Vincent Sora is your lead driver, as these are live points. This is not accounting for, though, if a driver wins, that extra 10 bonus points, nor is this accounting the 0 incident point extra point that you will also grab. Vincent Sora, we don't believe is going to be getting that extra bonus point because he's gotten in the wall multiple times. There's a chance he might have lost that incident point. But looking at these drivers at this moment, Jared Talmadge, with the way that they're running right now, luckily he had a 6-point advantage over John Forbes. So even with being behind the 11, there's a chance to win this championship. But you gotta hope this 11 doesn't win this race, because that could be the fault of missing out on this Season 8 championship. Vincent Sora, on the other hand, he almost needs a win with the pace we're about to see by the 11 and 27.
That's it for a fact. Yeah, I think the 15, he's running for his life right now. He's just hoping something holds up those other two, because it is not that far. I mean, it's only about 2 seconds back to John Forbes from Vincent Sora. So 20 laps, much older tires. It's in a dire situation. And Forbes, I mean, he's willing to risk it. He's going right now 3 wide, passing people. And after he gets past Michael Miller, it's just Thomas Green in between them and him and Vincent Sora. So this 11 doing exactly what he needs to do. He's looking to possibly go out here and get this 4 in a row.
Trying to go to become the 4 in a row. Go back to back to back to back. After grabbing his first championship all the way back in Season 5, he has been a driver that has just shown in every statistic in the history of the ISRC, he is one of the greatest of all time. And some drivers are curious who could stop the 11. They thought at one moment maybe it was Vincent Sora's return, and instead it's been Forbes. It's been just besting the 15. It feels like week in and week out. The last couple of weeks, though, Sora has found the advantage. But here tonight, John Forbes, that clutch factor that he's just found these last couple of seasons continues to ramp up. Jared Talmadge now forced to go 3 wide for a quick moment as he gets by Malik Kuntz as well as Martin Morales, now trying to find his sights to get by Miller and Stovall. And once again, Jared Talmadge, we look at those live points, he's tied currently. As long as he's within 1 to 2 drivers, Stovall is, he could be that barrier for help, John Forbes, but Jared Talmadge, he just knows he needs to keep the 11 in front of him by at least 1 to no drivers, and he could keep himself in a points position to win this championship.
Very well the situation, and if anything here, Sam, I'm really starting to think for Talmadge, if a yellow flag was to come out, this is crazy to say, if the yellow flag was to come out, this would be a help for him. I mean, it's not going to be a race win help, but the thing that will benefit him is we have about 6 drivers who've yet to pit. So if this caution comes out, those drivers have 1 set of tires left in pit road. Our other competitors who've hit green flag stops do not. So they will not have no option to use, and that really helps their case for John Forbes not winning. If Forbes wins, Talmadge is very much in trouble. But if this situation where someone else can win, that is what Talmadge is still in this fight. So this is a very interesting situations, and it could come down to either if this thing stays green or we get a yellow flag.
And each position so critical for Vincent Sora, because you see the live numbers ticking away. Each position Jared Talmadge gets, he climbs ever so closer to swapping to being the lead driver in points. 15 laps to go here at Kansas. And Zach, I mean, also eyes have to be set on those top 7 that have yet to pit. What is their fuel numbers looking like? 46 laps we've been out there. Now, during those 46 laps, there was pace laps that they got to deal with. Some of these drivers haven't been pushing as aggressively. They've been saving a little bit of fuel. Are they thinking about stretching it as far as they can go? And this could be the factor that could really help out as John Forbes now gets by Vincent Sora and becomes the driver that's now getting by Isaac Shelley. This is the pass for the drivers that are going to be fighting for the lead if this pit cycle completes all the way through as Shelley gets to that outside wall.
It's up right there. Sora lost big momentum there, but I don't think his fight is with the 11 right now. If you're the 15, the only hope you got for a championship is if something goes very, very wrong here and we get some yellow flags to help out, because that 11 just too much of a pace advantage with the tires that are going to be to his advantage. And the 27 Talmadge, he's going to be quickly coming up here also. But I got to say, Talmadge has lost a ton of ground throughout this whole situation. He's been a little bit less aggressive, and it's really come back to hurt him here. But like I said, if we were to get a yellow flag, that could come back to help him.
It could come back to help him. Tyler Dingler not going to go into pit road, leaving us with 5 drivers yet to pit so far. I know also for Jared Talmadge, he's got 2 teammates ahead of him, so that's going to be 2 points. We're going to see the swap go on, or we're going to see Talmadge gain some points, but we're looking at it right now. 1 point the difference between our top 3 drivers that entered tonight. When they entered tonight, it was a 6-point difference. Now, this isn't adding up. That is 1 bonus point for 0 incident points at the end of this race if a driver doesn't grab any. And also, this isn't accounting for if you win those 10 bonus points. Nick Crawford now about to be exiting out of pit road, leaving us with just 4 drivers yet to pit. Now it's Jump now entering pit road. And we're just seeing those drivers tick away from that position of being up front. And now the question looms, can you catch up to John Forbes, or will a caution change everything as Joshua Kanata, one of the last drivers to enter pit road, he enters in. John Forbes looks up as that ticker board switches. The 11, seeing himself with 11 laps to go. He is currently your leader, and if he wins, the championship is his.
This is what Forbes wanted. He wants that 4th championship, and this situation he's in is really good. As right now, Talmadge farther back, he's getting held up. He's racing side by side with his 2 teammates for 3 wide, and they're not letting him by.
This is ridiculous to watch. You think having teammates would assist you, but right now this is hurting. Talmadge, he almost finds himself being pinched with his teammate to the outside. Just let the 27 go. Let your teammate fight for the championship. But instead, they hurt his tires lap after lap.
Mind-blowing. That's all the word I will say right there. That was definitely a situation that I'm on the radio with my teammates, letting them know I'm not happy about that. But hey, to each his own. But man, we'll see how Talmadge can do now. He's gonna have to set his sights to see if he can go catch Sora. But this is gonna be a tough situation right now. I mean, Forbes right now 2.7 out from this 27, and time is clicking away. It's they're gonna need a yellow flag, in my opinion, Sam, for any chance for this 11 not to win the championship, because right now he's in the catbird seat.
He certainly is. 9 laps to go for John Forbes and crowning himself the 4th big red game, wrapping his 4th championship. 4 championships, 8 seasons been ran. Half of this series has been dominated by this 11 machine. Starting to see drivers that waited to pit later getting their laps back as each lap ticks away. Forbes seeing 0 competition behind him, and it is just a waiting game. Will we see a caution, or do we stay clean and green? Forbes, really, it's just hit your marks. Don't throw this race away, and you've got yourself a championship to be crowned once again. I mean, this is a series where we've seen all 3 drivers that are hunting for this championship. They were all a part of that inaugural race all the way back in September 12th of 2021. Got to see all the drivers fighting back and forth. It was Danny Cochran that won that race, but all these drivers know the history of this series. Been growing as friends, growing as drivers, and John Forbes grouping up with drivers that have really turned him into the monster that he is to win the past 3 championships. And you knew that he was going to be a threat, and he has proved it week in and week out that he was never really out of a championship run, even with blowing his engine at that first race of the chase at Talladega. Had a poor finish, same with Vincent Sora. They both had to climb out of massive holes, and Zach with 6 laps to go. The 11 feeling so comfortable with over a 2-second gap over Vincent Sora.
I mean, he is definitely very comfortable right now. This is a situation where you're comfortable feeling how everything's working out right now, but you're nervous just looking forward and saying, please, the laps just click away. It can feel like an eternity when you're in the position to win the championship and you got 5 laps to go as he's going to be coming to this time right here by. So it's all he's thinking in his head, no yellow flags. I just want to see that white flag, and then that will mean that he just needs to get back around one more time. So this is a situation where you're not nervous with your driving, but you're just nervous with the rest of the field. You're hoping nobody makes that big mistake that could lead to an issue.
There's a couple of big battles happening out on track. 5 laps to go here tonight. Got Martin Morales and the 8 of Noah Steele battling for 8th place. What a run for both of those drivers that were outside of the top 20 for the first half of this race. They continue to battle back and forth. And then there's a 3-horse race going on for 13th. It's Ali Fonseca, Ethan Smith, Logan Brakey. Those 3 drivers are going to be a little bit of concern here with 4 laps to go. If you're John Forbes over the radio, you're screaming, please keep it green, as these drivers continue to go back and forth for their battling to see who's going to be in a better position instead of the top 15.
This has been a great battle all night from a lot of these drivers, and this one is not going to end until the very end right here, because I think Ethan Smith and Forbes or Fonseca have been able to stay side by side for the majority of this time, and if anything slips up here, Brakey's right there also. So this could be a little bit of a situation we got to watch. But man, oh man, they're keeping it clean for the time being.
They certainly are. The battle for second currently underway with Vincent Sora and Jared Talmadge. What a season it's been for Jared Talmadge. Started off with that win at Daytona, won the first race of the chase at Talladega, and able to grab his 2 wins, his 3rd career win with that Talladega victory, and thought maybe this was his time. But across the line, looking up the flag stand, 2 laps to go for John Forbes. The numbers are ridiculous. They continue to grow. And Zach, entering this season, thought maybe he was going to go part-time, just didn't work out. Other obligations fell through. He got to transfer over to a full-time racer, and look at this 11 go. Yeah,
it's been so impressive just to watch him on this 4-peat that's possibly going to be coming out right here, but it's been all him, man.
It certainly has. Up to the flag stand. It's official. Your gridless graphics white flag is thrown. John Forbes, just 1 more lap for himself. The gap, 2.5 seconds to Jared Talmadge, that's doing everything in his power to run down and catch the 11. But it was all about who could win. If you won, you solidified yourself with the glory. John Forbes, all the pressure, all the tendencies of, was this going to be a 4-peat? Well, look up. It's the 11. Once again, 4-time winner of the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series is John Forbes, your winner of the ISRC finale here at Kansas.
What a finish, man. Forbes, congratulations. That's all you can really say to that man. He won it on pit road. I mean, well, it won on the racetrack, but that entry to pit road, the exit, everything, just well execution, and that is all you can ask for with in a championship race, is to execute that well.
I mean, we've been seeing the growth. John Forbes has been helping out. Vincent Store's been helping out Jared Talmadge. We've been seeing the growth of that driver. We thought maybe it was this season, but you can tell the edge of a driver that just is looking for perfection. And for John Forbes, perfection in pit road. He won every time exiting out of pit road. If it was under caution or if it was under green, this 11 was the first one out with the maximum speed, and he gets it done here tonight. Jarrett's got a couple of more lessons to learn. Vincent Sora, he's got a lot more to develop for himself, and it's the champ getting another one for himself. Your season 5, 6, 7, and welcome to number 8. Forbes is your season 8 champion. Enjoy the burnout as we will step away. We've got ourselves the top 3 of the race, or top 3 of the championship. We'll also see if we got a spotlight driver after this as we come back for the post-race show of the season 8 championship race. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show of the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series Season 8 Championship Race. As your ISRC finale at Kansas, Victor goes to the 11 of John Forbes. We head to victory lane, as well as we get to crown him a champion. We've got ourselves the 11 of John Forbes. He's heard this many a times in the past. I'm curious on how this one feels to be crowned your ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series Season 8 champion. John, this is number 4 of the series, a 4-peat. How does this one rank compared to the rest? Because that was quite a show that you just put on for us.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty awesome. You're able to take home 4 in the series. It's just crazy thinking back to the first one, that what we've been able to do 4 in a row. But honestly, this was like the hardest fought race that I've been involved here in the last race. Like just the entire time, Jared, Vincent, we all had a shot to win this, and we were all up front. And honestly, it's more bittersweet just because everybody that I was racing with, I mean, they're like some of my best friends in iRacing. So either way, I was going to be happy. Either way, I was going to be winning a championship, or I was going to be congratulating one of them. So honestly, it couldn't have gone bad. But just the way it happened, I was really getting, like, Vinny had a tough start at the race, but he eventually kind of figured it out. And same with Jared. He was just really fast all night. I know he put a lot more practice than I did into it, and he had figured something out that I just did not have all night on the long run. So he was just super fast. But I remembered, I mean, just the only takeaway I had from this race last year at Kansas was that one lap on the tires was insane. I think it was a race with Cedric and Nick and I came in one lap before them, and that one lap was just insane. So it came down to the same kind of thing at the end of this one. Just when is everybody going to pit? Are we going to stay out? Is there going to be a caution? But we knew we couldn't really risk it and stay out too long, especially once Vinny made the call, because I was just waiting for somebody else or one of them to come in before me. So once Vinny came in, I was like, okay, do I want to come in lap next? Do I want to come 2 laps later? And it just so happened that Jared was going to pit the next lap. So he called it out, and then he didn't have his tires checked. So he ended up going around again, but he didn't say anything. So I was like, oh, man, I could have come in that time. So then like 3 more laps went by, then he came in, and then I finally got my shot at it. Felt like I had a pretty good stop, and I know Jared had some trouble getting back to speed off of the restart, or getting back refired after the pit stop. So I saw Vinny out there, and I honestly was like, oh, it may have been too long. He was way out there, like probably 3 or 4 seconds, but as I cut through the lap traffic, then I was able to see him and Tom. And from there, I was like, okay, now I just need to settle in. I got past both of them. And then from there, it was just like, I really hope cautions didn't come out, because if it did, I knew there were guys that still had tires, and I was probably going to end up not winning the race. And that's honestly, it's the only way I could have won realistically. So, and honestly, the strategy and everything went perfectly. Super awesome to be able to come out with the 4th one again. But yeah, it was just a hard-fought battle all night. Just to love my teammates. It was a great battle, and I'm sure you guys had a blast up in the broadcast booth all night too.
Oh, it was definitely a blast up here, John. Congrats, man, on 4. That is an amazing feat to achieve. I mean, even 1 championship is a feat. So, man, congrats on 4 in a row. I mean, it's unheard of for sure. I mean, take us through the entry to pit road there, because, you know, that was the thing I was ranting and raving up here about, is you just, I mean, almost a second faster than anybody, I'll tell you, on your in lap compared to the whole field. So take us through the entry there, because it just seemed like you were on the edge, but definitely did a great job of still getting it slowed down.
Yeah, I had practiced it a good amount in practice, and I knew obviously I had fresher tires pitting in practice, but I was picking like this red board on the last red board on the exit of 3. And I'd practiced it a few times, and I had to mess with the brake bias a few times because I kept getting loose, or I was just messing up. So I knew I had to do a lot of braking while I was on the banking, and then really just throw it down there, because if you get caught kind of in the middle of the embankment, you really can get loose and it can really mess you up. So I felt like I had it down, so that's just what I went and did. I've same with like WSSR, other championships, it just really come down to that last stop. So I've really been trying to perfect that, and I had no idea I was that much quicker than everybody. But yeah, just super cool. That just throwing it in on that last stop, I knew I hit it perfectly. I knew it was going to get us in position. And then it was just about breaking in the box, not sliding through. And recently with my pedals, I started using the full clutch again instead of the auto clutch. and it has really helped. I mean, I can just kind of let it sit in the middle and just rev the thing up, so it really helped me get fired off. But at the same time, there were a few stops tonight where I just spun the tires off of it because I got a little too antsy. So to be able to get every little piece of the puzzle in there for that last stop, it was pretty awesome and definitely set us up to win that race.
I mean, John, it really looks like you're just perfecting your craft each and every season with watching this for Pete. What does this championship and this season as a whole? I know entering the mindset was kind of, I don't know if I'm going to do full time, part time, to then full time, and then we're running for the championship. What was this season as a whole for yourself? Now capsulizing it with the championship.
Yeah, it was really up in the air all season. There's a lot of changes and stuff going on with like my personal life and where I live. So I didn't know when that was going to be kind of taking place, and now we know it's going to be obviously after the season here. So it just worked out that we were able to run the full season, which was pretty cool. It was just honestly so much fun coming in every weekend, not really worrying about where I'm going to finish like I do in some other leagues, like the college league and stuff specifically. I could just come in, have fun, and really just try things. Like you get into the college league and other things like that, and you kind of have to. You're stuck on what you know. You don't want to go and try something different because it might not work and it might cost you a lot of money. So coming in to this season, especially with the trucks, I was just, like I said, trying different things, sending it, getting a little bit risky, even going over the top a few times this season. So it honestly was just super lax. I came into tonight just with really no expectations, just knowing I was going to have a great time with my buddies. And that's what we ended up doing tonight. And it came out in our favor.
It was incredible to watch, John. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, I just got to thank Gridless Graphics for cooking up the awesome designs all season. I know he got a lot of business, and it helps having that truck in victory lane, getting all the social media posts and stuff. So I'm glad I'm able to help him out with that. And then with Nexus coming on board with the season, putting me on their team, definitely helpful. They're just a great group of guys over there, always practicing, always learning new things. Just a lot of skilled drivers over there. So that was definitely a big help. Definitely got to thank them. And then everybody, Danny Cochran, I know he wasn't here tonight, but always fun having him. Looking forward to hopefully seeing him back in the rig pretty soon. But Jared Talmadge especially, he just got a crazy improvement this season. I mean, he went from somebody that wasn't really in contention for wins all the time to somebody I have to battle with every single race. And I mean, he was the fastest truck all night, really the deserving one at the end of this championship. Just put everything together, had no mistakes. But then there's Vince Asora, just awesome teammate as well. But we were the ones had a little bit of trouble, and we were on the rebound the whole time. So it was super fun battling him. And just every time we got side by side, we knew we had to win this race each time. So we both kind of split it down the middle. I think we won 2-2 or something like that. So yeah, definitely fun battling him all season. I just got to thank Jay Performance being on board. We're now trying kind of transitioning the name, kind of our next level to Forbes Equipped. So we'll have a new scheme out here for some of the other leagues coming up. But yeah, definitely wrapping it up here in the truck series. I'm sure everybody's glad that I won't be back again. It's kind of how it was supposed to be last season, but with Road to Pro and everything getting canceled, it really changed my plans around. So yeah, looking forward to see who's going to pick up the crown after me. And I got to thank you guys for always putting these broadcasts on. Looking forward. I mean, obviously I'll still be in WSSR and stuff, trying to perfect my craft now with the new next gen stuff coming up. So looking forward to it.
We cannot wait for it either. John, congratulations on your journey and your career here in the ISRC Truck Series. Can't wait to see what you go do beyond here in this series. And for tonight, congratulations on not just being a season 5, not just a season 6, not just a season 7, but add a new trophy to the case. Your ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series Season 8 champion is John Forbes Jr. Congratulations, John, on this championship. Enjoy it. And we can't wait to see what you do on Wednesday nights with the WSSR.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
As that is your winner here tonight, your champion. We now go down to second place to talk to Jared Talmadge, who tried everything possible for this postseason. Started out perfect, winning at Talladega. Then it was salvage, just try to stop the bleeding. It just wasn't enough at the end. He comes away second here tonight, but what an impressive run. Jarrett, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. Congratulations on second here tonight. Congratulations on second in the points. How are you feeling, though, after your performance here this evening?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one to lose because I mean I feel like if you ask John and Vinny, they'd probably say I had the best truck. past 25 laps the entire night, and we could just really never get past 25 laps. We kept getting like 20, 25 lap runs, and then pit road. I guess that 11 crew just had an all-time pit stop because I thought I had a good one, and he came out in front, and then I got blocked by some slower trucks, and I just kind of knew it was done from there.
Definitely a tough break for you, Jarrett, man, but you fought so valiantly all night and definitely showed that you were the truck to beat when it came to the longer runs. Like, I completely agree with you there, man. I mean, when it comes to that, what did you have figured out? It seemed like you were able to run the bottom just much longer than anybody else, where the other guys, once they started to struggle, they had to move up top.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really don't know what to tell you what I did different other than just like playing with the throttle probably more than I guess they were. I was never really, even at the start of the runs, never really 100% throttle throughout the turns. I would always lift. And like you said, it just seems like they couldn't run the bottom after 10, 15, and I could stick to it the entire run. I didn't even need to use the top. As you saw there, I think the third run, I fell back to the fourth behind Tom, John, and Vinny, and drove back up to about the lead before we got that caution. But I mean, I guess it was a good season overall. I mean, we hung in there with, I guess you say, the big dogs of the league, John and Vinny, and we almost pulled it off.
I mean, you really were hanging out there. I mean, Jarrett, looking at your career here in the ISRC Truck Series, it's been quite a journey from being a part-timer, full-timer, part-timer, taking a break and then returning, making the playoffs in season 6, missing it last season, to now being one of the favorites to go for that championship. How has it been seeing your own growth on track and be able to compete with these guys, not just on Monday nights, but also on Wednesday nights, and what I kind of coined the future driver to watch out for here in both series?
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice to see that the works that I'm putting in behind the scenes is working. I mean, like I think I said in WSSR one interview, it helps when you have people like Vinny and John around you that can kind of give you tips and tricks to improve. And I think that's what you've been seeing over the past season of ISRC and then WSSR this season and the end of last season is just me developing more as a driver and just really being able to compete with the guys and not make as many mistakes as I would used to, and a lot more consistent on the long runs, a lot faster short run. Turned into a pole merchant in this postseason, getting 3 poles. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of just working in the background and just listening to, like I said, like John and Vinny, what they do, and kind of feed off of it and improve.
Well, it's been a pleasure to watch this growth on how this 27 crew has been getting faster and faster each season in both series. And before we call it a season for yourself here for season 8, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out you guys for broadcasting the entire season. You watched the broadcast back. You guys have done a great job. Hopefully, the racing up there for the lead tonight was enjoyable to call. I'd like to shout out everybody who runs the league, my teammates, Ike, Tom. I think they had good runs tonight too, and Tom was very helpful there early. He was kind of just pushing me to keep me up there with John. Shout out to Vinny, good battles there at the end, and congrats to John on the title.
Well, that will be your second place finisher here tonight in the race and in points, Jarrett Talmadge. Congratulations on second, Jarrett. What an impressive season it's been. We can't wait to see how much you grow again if you continue your journey here on Monday nights and as well seeing your speed on Wednesdays.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that'll be your second place finisher. We now go down to talk to third place driver who started off this chase with a uphill climb, and it felt like even tonight started up with an uphill climb. We have Vincent Sora with us. Vinny, you come away third here tonight, but man, what a postseason you had for us. Coming off of these last 2 races, back-to-back wins. It looked like tonight there was a chance for victory, but ultimately come up shy. How are you feeling with your performance, though, this evening?
Just disappointed. Kind of the same way I've been the last 3 or 4 seasons, however many here. When I've had the same result at the end, yeah, it just sucks. Ultimately, came down to the very first race of the chase at Talladega when I got put on the trailer on like lap 20. I mean, I had a 35-point gap to the leaving that race, and entered tonight with just 2 points off the leader, and yeah, just didn't have the speed all night. I'm I feel like I'm still learning these trucks every week because they do something different at every track, it seems like, especially the mile and a halves. I had good speed at all the other ones this season. They were a little bit more free on the long run, and that's kind of like just my preference in anything at any track. But tonight it was just totally shredding the right front, and I couldn't keep it on it. And I feel like that's kind of John's wheelhouse. He's really good at saving the right front tire on these mile and a halves, and I don't have it. So got to go back to the drawing board for next season. I don't know what everyone's plans are, but I'll still be hungry for more wins and hopefully maybe championship number 2 if the next season happens and I can figure these things out.
Definitely a heartbreaking end to a very, very strong season for you, Vincent. So first off, congrats on the valiant effort, man. I mean, you fought all the way to the end, especially, like you said, after an uphill battle from that first playoff race. I mean, take us through, though, tonight, because like you said, you just didn't feel like you had what you wanted to be able to compete there. But near the end, you definitely got closer to the lead. What did you change up? Did you change the mentality? Like, what was it that allowed you to get that little bit closer compared to the first half of the race?
Yeah, I think the very first run, I was just over saving. The trucks are kind of silly in my opinion. I don't know how reflective they are in real life, but on here, if you try to save tire, you burn tire, and if you just go 100% the whole time, you save tire. So yeah, the first run I was like having a lot of off throttle time and trying to be smooth, and I lost the leaders by like 2 seconds, and then the rest of the race I was full sending and I was able to stick with them. So I don't know. These things are weird. Like I said, I'm still trying to learn them and figure them out, it feels like. So, yeah, I just had to make some adjustments and not really care about the tires anymore, and it made the tires better. So, yeah, just kind of a weird driving style you have to be successful in these things. And I don't know.
Well, Vinny, I'm curious on what your plans are to try to reset for the next season, because it sounds like you are coming back. Well, what are you going to be focusing on? Is it kind of stick with the trucks, keep racing them, or take a break and wait until the season comes around?
I probably won't touch them in officials. We actually all did some officials last night, and I got caught up in like every single wreck. So that's kind of just why I try to stay away from official racing. And yeah, if everyone decides they're coming back next season, then I'll definitely run over here. But yeah, I'll probably try to give myself a little break from these things until then.
Sounds like a plan. Well, Vinny, this has been an impressive season. Regular season champion, just coming up shy in the Season 8 championship race, but it was a pleasure to call tonight's race. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, definitely first off, John, he's shown for the last few years that he knows how to get it done when he needs to. So he's kind of the clutch king in everything we do. So shout out to him. He definitely earned it tonight. Shout out to all the admins over here for bringing this thing back the last 2 seasons, or 2 or 3. I keep on forgetting what season we're in, but shout out to you guys for broadcasting, all my teammates over here, and just everybody who makes it possible.
Well, that will be your third place finisher here tonight on track and in the points. Vincent Sora in the 15. What a season it's been. Vinny, congratulations on just an incredible season. I know it didn't cap off the way you wanted, but good luck resting up over the off season, and we can't wait to see you next time you're on track.
Thank you guys. See you in a couple weeks for WSR.
Can't wait for it. That's going to be the 15 of Vincent Sora again, coming away third here tonight. You see John Forbes, Jarrett Talmadge, and John Forbes out there on track on Wednesdays for the WSSR VRS Cup Series, as we will be back next week. But we head to fourth place. Not fourth place, but fourth driver we get to talk to. Comes away ninth here tonight. It's the 91, Martin Morales. Martin, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. What a run for yourself early on. You were dealing looked like some issues, just surviving in the back. End of the night, top 10 finish for yourself. How are you feeling after your performance here this evening?
Hey, fancy seeing you guys again this season. I think that's the first time I got multiple interviews in one season. Yeah, first part of the race, I was struggling for sure. First couple laps, I'd be all right, but then I don't know what I was doing, but I was just falling, plummeting through the pack. And I was getting really discouraged there early in the race. But once it completely turned to night and we got that one long run where I was just trying to save fuel to see if I can make it on the one stop instead of the two stop, and I was saved enough. I fell pretty far back, but I was just saving, and then it was getting the updates from the leaders' times, and I noticed my times were on par or faster than the leaders. So I was like, something's clicking here, because I was just ripping the bottom saving, and I just used that for the future runs after the caution came out, and I guess I just figured it out, just ripping the bottom, and executed the pit stop just well enough, and was able to just bring it home for another top 10.
Definitely, yeah, like another top 10. That's what I was going to bring up, Martin. This is 4 top 10s this season. You had 2 7th place finishes and 2 9th place finishes this season. Or if you look back to the previous season, I believe you didn't have a top 10. So how does it feel to have that improvement on one season to the next?
Oh, it feels incredible. No pun intended. But yeah, it's been a few seasons since I got a top 10. Just not being able to practice as much as I need to. These guys are really fast, and they are really dedicated to this, and I can't put as much as they can into it. So when I can execute and stay out of trouble during the races and bring it home where take advantage of when things happen, and strategy and all that. When I can execute, and figure things out during the race, I really think I can be a top 10, driver in this league. And it just feels good when that can really come together. And it's something really clicked, I guess, in Las Vegas. That was a turning point. And I'm just glad I could, put 4 of those runs together and make the stats look a little better.
I mean, Martin, yourself and Tyler have been admins of this group. I know Joshua Kanata hopped on board this season, but being an admin since the first season of the ISRC Truck Series, what is it like watching the growth from season 1 to now to see all the drivers that have been here since the beginning and to see where the league's at currently?
It's really cool to see how competitive it's gotten and how good everybody's gotten, because first few seasons, it was just, I don't know if it's the right word to say, but it's been a madhouse, of different drivers coming in and out, and just the racing and the on track product being, at times, being hard to stay focused and stay excited every Monday, when, the Wreck Fest happen and the 15 caution races happen, but the past couple seasons, and this season especially, everybody has really kept it together well. We've raced each other hard, but it's all the intense racing is mostly been respectful, and everybody's just gotten better from it, and myself included. Even though I don't get the practice as much as the rest of these guys, but just racing these guys has helped me a lot, and I know it's helped the rest of these guys too. It's just been really cool to see the growth and how much better everybody's gotten, how competitive it's been. And it really showed with seeing, coming in, the top 3 being separated by 6 points for the championship. I mean, that's insane.
It certainly was insane to watch, and throughout the race, how close the points were. Martin, it was a pleasure to call tonight's race and seeing you get another top 10 for yourself. But before we call it a night in a season, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
I want to say congratulations to John Forbes. He's been out of this world past 4 seasons now. That's incredible. 4 straight championships. I want to say congratulations to him. Congratulations to everybody that was in the playoffs this season. Thanks to you guys for always putting on a great show. I want to thank everybody in the league for, this has been, the most fun I've had in the league. Not saying it because I've been helping run it, but I mean, it's been the most fun just getting to know everybody and racing against them every Monday. Just appreciate everybody coming out and being so cool. And thanks to my wife and family, everybody that, supports me doing this every Monday. And it'd be nice to get a little break here, but it's been another fun season. I want to just thank everybody involved.
Well, Martin, it was a pleasure to give the call for tonight and this season. Congratulations on 9th place here tonight. Enjoy it and good luck trying to get set up for the 9th season of the ISRC.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too, as that will finish up our interviews here this evening. Crazy to see 8 seasons in the books, and our final race of season 8 is over and done. Victory going to be going to the 11 of John Forbes as we take a look at our unofficial results. A lot of ups and downs, but the 11 was the one that found himself being up front when it mattered. The clutch pit stops, the clutch late runs, and it's John Forbes having the win over Jarrett Talmadge, who comes away second, Vincent Sora third, Thomas Green, what a recovery for himself. That last restart was all the way back in 12th position, and he comes away in fourth. Fifth is going to be Isaac Shelley with Joshua Stovall taking away sixth. Seventh was Noah Steele with Michael Miller eighth. Ninth is Mark Morales Jr. and finishing out our top 10, Malik Kuntz in that 77.
Yeah, and as we look through the rest of the order now, you can see some of the drivers who finished up farther back, but what a season we had on hands here for men. This has been a great finale, and what a way to close it out too. It was just such close racing throughout this whole entire field. A lot of great runs from a lot of great drivers throughout the whole entire season, and to close out here at Kansas, it's been really a pleasure just to call from the booth up here. I noticed that we both had probably a really good time because they never made it at one point for sure that what was going to happen. It was up in the air all the way down to the very end. So definitely gotta give a huge shout out to all the drivers who showed up tonight and put on one heck of a race.
They certainly did put on a heck of a race. I think it wasn't until 10 laps to go when we finally kind of saw the picture as clear as it was that John was the driver of note. And speaking of note, our biggest mover of the day, our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover, goes the 8 machine of Noah Steele, who moves up 13 positions, coming away here 7th here tonight. But yeah, I mean, this was a race where we thought maybe we were going to throw it to a commercial break. It was tough to even do that because of all the racing action and the madhouse of our 3 championship drivers, how close they were to one another, the chance and potential of a wreck that never happened up front. It was awesome to call. Well, we got more racing action to call starting next week. Crazy to say, we are done with Monday nights for a while until we might see season 9 come around. I know they're still finalizing dates, finalizing races. We have our other series that we call here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's the WSSR Cup Series, the VRS Cup Series, coming up here, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. And Zach, crazy to say, but it is about to be turned upside down. iRacing's big updates tomorrow, and all drivers are waiting. What changes will happen, and who's going to be quick, who's going to be slow? I'm excited for Wednesday nights.
Oh, Sam, yeah, it is Christmas in June right now for us racers. This is the big update all of us oval racers have been waiting for. We've been waiting for that new tire, that new aero, the Gen 4 also. We got some really cool things coming from the oval side. A bunch of the tracks are getting updated, and I can't wait. I know tomorrow, as soon as I can get that stuff downloaded and I get some time, I'm going to be putting some time in on that track because I've got a lot of work to do myself as a driver, and I know a lot of other people do too, that we're going to be learning. It's going to be a whole new learning phase, and I think that's what's going to be fun, especially for anybody who wants to tune in on Wednesday nights. Come watch it because we don't know what's going to happen. It could be completely different. It could be more wild. It could be even we really just don't know. So we'll really have to just find out as the seasons play out.
Yeah, just like from hearing from Martin's interview, the drivers that get the practice in, I think they're going to really step up, and you're going to see who really is able to have the time to put in and who's going to be willing to put the work in to be the fastest drivers to watch out for. And proved here this season, the driver that put in the most work, John Forbes, put in the practice, put in the time to finalize how to be quick, getting into pit road, getting into his box and leaving his box. That 11, it's finalizing the smaller things that can help you get into a championship form, and that's what helped this 11 machine to grasp his 4th championship in a row. What a season. It continues on, but who can grab next season's championship? John Forbes sounds like he is done with the ISRC Truck Series. It's been quite a career for himself. He's top of practically every stat you can look at. Who's going to climb through the ranks and maybe dethrone him? We'll find out whenever we are given information for Season 9 of the ISRC Truck Series. But for us here tonight, what a season. It's been a pleasure to give the call here on Monday nights. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining with us. Cannot wait for our next Freaky Fast broadcast as we get ourselves prepared for Wednesday nights with the big update. It's going to be fun to learn and see who's quick or who's slow. But for Season 8, it's been a pleasure to call as John Forbes gets it done here at Kansas for the ISRC finale. he will be crowned your ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series Season 8 champion. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. We certainly did, calling it. We cannot wait. We will see you next Wednesday. We will see you on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.